12 games in a row. I take it one game at a time.
Grace holds the key for the Cats. His clash with the Hawks point guard Doug Overton could hold the outcome of the game.
Well, Doug Overton's obviously one of the fine point guard imports in the league, and there are a lot of good ones this year, and he's had an outstanding preseason for Illawarra.
The Wildcats versus the Hawks, it's not Ricky Grace versus Doug Overton, but I guess it's good to have, personal matchups, and Doug is definitely one of the best guards in the league from what I hear.
So it's the Wildcats and the Hawks, live from the Perth Entertainment Centre. And hi everyone, welcome to the Entertainment Centre. I'm Peter Ensel, and it's week 4 of the NBL regular season, and tonight's match brings together the Perth Wildcats and the Illawarra Hawks. The Wildcats on a 2-game losing streak as we check the standings then, and this is the way it looks after week 3. The Wildcats with a 2-2 record. They've lost consecutive matches to the Melbourne Tigers and the Sydney Kings, while Illawarra have played 1 game less, their record 1-2. Now for the all-time record, which well and truly favours Perth. In fact, they lead at 12 games to 6 there, and Illawarra haven't beaten Perth since 1989. Well, with me, as usual, is John Gardner. Welcome to the telecast, John.
Hi, Peter.
John, I guess the big news going into this game is Mike Ellis been dropped from the starting 5.
First time Mike Ellis has not been in the starting 5 for over 11 years, and the second change within 2 weeks to the Wildcats starting 5. Tiny Pinder last week, Mike Ellis this week.
Well, the Wildcats, you think they'll drop 3 in a row?
Well, I don't think they will, and it's about 6 years since they've done that. Certainly they've never done it on this court. They're under pressure tonight. This will be a far different game to last week. The Illawarra Hawks are not as solid inside as was Sydney Kings, so I don't think we'll see a third loss to the Wildcats.
OK, thanks for that, John. Let's go courtside then for the announcement of tonight's starting 5s.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting 5s for tonight's game. First of all, for the Illawarra Cougar Tools Hawks. Number 4, Chuck Harmison. Number 11, Doug Overton. Number 14, Justin Withers. Number 32, Melvin Thomas. And number 33, Greg Hubbard. And the coach, Dave Lindstrom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, stand by for the starting 5 for the Perth Wildcats. First up, number 7, James Crawford. Number 13, Vince Hinchin. Number 15, Ricky Grace. Number 21, Andrew Blauhart. And the number 40, Pete Hansen. The coach, Murray Arnold.
So Murray Arnold matching wits tonight with David Lindstrom. Arnold, the championship coach of last year. Lindstrom took the Illawarra Hawks to the semis in 1987. Let's check the lineups then. As we mentioned, Mike Ellis missing from that starting 5 tonight. Also Tiny Pinder.
Most interesting lineup, and the Wildcats are looking for far more offensive potency out there. They need to score a lot more than what they've done in previous weeks.
So we're set to get underway then. Week 4 of the regular season. The Wildcats looking to return to the winning list tonight, up against the much improved Hawks, and there's a violation with the jump.
Well, they didn't either jump, but didn't allow the ball to get to the apex of its climb. Let's see if this is better. Crawford comes up again. It comes back across the half court. Ricky Grace has got the ball at the point.
The Cats with first possession tonight. Vince Hinchin in for their captain, Mike Ellis. A lot of pressure on him. Forced baseline. Gets it back out to Crawford. This is Ricky Grace up against Overton. That should be a great duel, and Grace gets the first basket of the night.
Well, that's the sort of start that Ricky Grace would want. He's been down on the offensive end for some time. He's looking to have a much better game, and he's got a very tough opponent out there with this man in picture, Doug Overton.
For the Cats with the first score. Big pass was looking for Thomas, and it's Crawford who comes down with it.
Well, that's James Crawford's 1900th rebound, the first player in the NBL to reach that standing.
Hansen in traffic and draws the foul. He'll go to the line.
Wildcats will want to go inside tonight, Peter. Last week against the Sydney Kings, they were forced to the outside and it showed a deficiency in their game. You can see Hansen receiving the ball where he likes to get it back to the basket, turned around. Only thing that will disappoint him is that he didn't score and make it a three-point play. But as he was in the act of shooting, he'll get 2 chances here to redeem.
Having a great season, averaging 70% from the line this year.
Not so good from the foul line. Of course, it was one of his weaknesses last year. Only shot 62% from the foul line last year.
The Cats with an early 3-point spread. Approaching the first minute of the first quarter, and it's Withers, who's had a good season, to Thomas, one of the 2 American imports. Harmison, a veteran with a hook, gets the 2.
Well, certainly is a veteran, Chuck Harmison. Probably nearing the twilight of his career, but a very dangerous and most experienced player.
Crawford likes that range and rimmed out, and Harmison gets the rebound. But they turn it over, Illawarra.
Well, first turnover favours the Wildcats, and of course their turnover rate has not been good all year. They averaged 18 turnovers last year. This year they're already so far up to averaging 23.
The Wildcats look like they mean business tonight, losing 2 games in a row. Hinchin gave it away. Down comes Overton, in between traffic. Overton all the way.
Boy, that's a smart move from Doug Overton. We've had big raps on this player already in the NBL. What I liked about that, Peter, was that he withheld the ball, waited for the pressure, played for the foul, got the continuation with the big step to the bucket and got the layup.
But the Hawks lead it by 1. Hinchin to Vlahoff from long range. This is for 3.
Well, that's another good sign for the Wildcats. Andrew Vlahoff, throughout his career, has had a reputation of shooting very well from range. He's already in this game been given the license to go outside a little further. There's another penetrating drive by Overton. Grace should come up with a foul. 15, Ricky Grace, block, possession from the side. There it is on replay. You can see the pressure on Grace. Reaching in there, the body contact was called.
Harmison, hands off to Overton. Kept to 12 points against the Giants last week. This is Hubbard in the Boomer spot. Open man is Thomas from the top. Can't get it to go, and Vlahoff for the rebound sends Grace away. Grace on the fast break. This is Hinchin baseline. Didn't get the roll. Vlahoff battling hard, but the Hawks come up with the ball.
Boy, it's up-tempo at the moment, and of course that should favour the Hawks. They like an up-tempo game.
And Withers gets his first 2 for the night. The Hawks lead it. In fact, the scores are tied 6 apiece.
Well, in contrast to last week's game where scoring was very, very hard to come by for the first 6 minutes of the first quarter, already it's 6-all, barely 2 minutes gone. 3-second violation called by Peter Lucas against the Wildcats. Of course, they're not allowed, whilst their team is in possession, to stay in that painted area for any longer than 3 seconds.
This year, Illawarra went down to the Melbourne Magic by a point. They defeated Canberra and lost to the North Melbourne Giants last week. Thomas, baseline over Crawford. Can't get it to go. Gets his own rebound and backs out.
He's a leaper. Got that one over James Crawford. Came out a little bit further. Got that left hand pumping well.
Hinchin down the other end. Tries to draw the foul. He's lost the ball.
Almost mugged as he went for that drive. Vince Hinchin, second in a row that he's missed. Boy, there's a lot of space down the keyway. I don't think the coaching staff, I don't think Mariano would be happy with the Wildcats at the moment. 10-6, notwithstanding the score, they're allowing too many layups.
The Hawks by 4. 8:38 left in the first quarter. Hinchin working against Hubbard. This is Vlahoff, turning jumper, and that was all net. 5 for Vlahoff tonight.
2 from 2, 100% so far. 1 3-pointer and then 1 regular 2-pointer.
Withers. Thomas looking dangerous, baseline, nice little dish, and Harmison gets the 2.
Well, there's too many points being scored. 12 plays, 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter. David Lindstrom would be happy with the tempo. Arnold would not be happy.
Vlahoff for 3, not that time, and Withers brings in the rebound, sends Overton away far side. Overton this year, 29 points against Magic. Thomas lost it. Grace, big outlet pass. Hinchin, can he get the 2 this time? And he makes the layup.
Well, 1 from 3. We've got to give him the benefit on the second layup. He was hammered on that one. This one he's come up with a good layup. And of course, that's Hinchin's great forte. We've heard about his athleticism all off-season during the recruiting. He's got to display that here tonight in the running game. So
An attacking start then Withers. Withers gets the friendly roll, and it's the Hawks by 4.
One could be excused for thinking this was about the last quarter of the ball game. They're really going at it. Wildcats have trained well all week. David Lindstrom has had his worst season last year in the NBL. This is his 6th season with the Hawks. He changed a lot of his roster this year, and he's promised the Hawks fans a much improved showing.
Hinchin went for 3, rimmed out. The Hawks led it by 4. Overton for 3, and that was all net.
It was a great shot. Overton pulled up. Ricky Grace couldn't do anything about that. Fades a little bit on the shot. Overton makes it very difficult for the defender to get into his face. Both clubs matching up in man-to-man defence here now.
Hinchin bounced pass to Hansen. Hansen double team baseline. Nice spinning move. Tried to draw the foul. It wasn't called, but the Cats keep the ball from the side.
Good judgment call there by Lucas. Hansen went through. There was contact. It was incidental. Harmison, with his experience, got the ball. Wildcats from the side.
Hinchin in his 4th game gave it to Grace, who's been quiet in recent weeks, John. They need more from him. This is Hansen, who hasn't been quiet. Grace for 3, and that came out. Crawford got a hand in there. Grace stripped of the ball, but it came out to Hinchin, so the Cats retain it.
Illawarra have changed their defence here. They're matching up on a zone. Harmison's on the baseline, got a hand in there for Crawford. Hansen comes up with the offensive board. He'll come up with the foul on Thomas by the look of it. Have to wait for Peter Lucas as he goes signalling. There it goes. Melvin Thomas for his first foul of the game. Let's pick it up in replay. Thomas is in the air. No danger there, but he reached in trying to swat the ball and came up with a hand.
Can I take you back to the shot put up by Crawford? He's been sadly out of form the last 2 games.
He has, and his lack of points productivity must be worrying because he's been struggling to find his range and his consistency. That last shot was behind the backboard and hit the side of the backboard. James Crawford has been a champion player, as is this Wildcat team. They're expected to bounce back tonight.
Hansen in the 20s in the 4 games this year. So it's the Hawks by 5, approaching 6 minutes left in the first quarter.
Interesting offensive setup here by the Hawks. They're isolating a lot, trying to find the man open. Hubbard came out from behind a screen, pulled the 3-pointer. Thomas with the rebound. Overton looking for the pick and roll. Now will he use it? No, he goes away to find Hubbard. Hubbard looking for the open man at the top. They're spreading the ball, trying to isolate, take the individual options. Hubbard in the air, finds Overton. Another one.
So the Hawks out to a 7-point lead, and we've got a timeout at the Entertainment Centre.
Welcome the premiere of the show the Palms thought was over the top. Birds of a Feather, following Hello Hello, Thursday comedy from 8:35.
West Track is working here in WA. West Track is working. We're here to stay. The West is working with power and pride. West Track is working by its side.
West Track, a powerful team.
What's the best value imported Japanese car?
A Honda?
A Honda.
It would have to be Honda.
In fact, Honda Civic from Paul Motors starts at around $16,500.
Is that all?
A Honda?
You're kidding.
The Honda Civic, 4-door luxury Accord, and sporty 2-door Prelude all show Honda's commitment to quality engineering and affordability.
Just see how affordable new Honda is at Paul Motors. Try us. You won't believe it.
Back at the Entertainment Centre, early going in this first quarter of the NBL clash on week 4. And it's the reigning NBL champions in some early trouble. They trailed by 7 points. The Hawks 19, the Wildcats 12 in recent weeks. The Wildcats have struggled with their shooting tonight, John, 33%.
Well, it's been a malady that's plagued them for the last 3 matches. 2 at least, notwithstanding the unsupportive rings at the National Tennis Centre when they played against the Melbourne Tigers. Their last 2 matches have not been good from the floor, and they're looking to rectify that tonight.
This is Crawford to Grace. The Cats with their starting 5 out there. Grace tried to get over Harmison, couldn't do so. Lahoff lost the ball. And now Hubbard brings it down.
Nice smart move from Harmison. Didn't leave his feet, didn't reach in, simply allowed Grace to bring the ball to him.
To the top, Overton. Working against Grace, and they'll call that against Grace.
That'll be on Grace. I think that's his second. Ricky Grace, 1-5. Billy Mildenhall is signalling. That's his second foul. It becomes the Wildcats' second team foul. Oh, gee, Overton's got the ball skills, Peter. He's penetrating at every opportunity there, taking the ball to the hoop. Watch him now again try and go around Grace. That's Grace's third. That's Grace's third foul. That's got to be a worry time for Mariano, they suspect. There you can see Peter Lucas signalling. It'll be a shooting foul as well. There it is in your replay. There's the contact. Well, Grace didn't do an awful lot wrong in that situation, but that puts the Wildcats at a distinct disadvantage, and Mike Ellis, after 7 minutes of this quarter, is back on the court. And Mike Ellis has trained very well all week. He hasn't liked, but has accepted his demotion from the starting five, and I'm sure he'll be out to prove that he's worthy of a spot in that starting five, and he's going to get his chance now with Ricky Grace picking up those early fouls.
So Overton from the line, his first year in the NBL. The second shot rims out, but the Hawks retain the ball. This is Overton left open for three, and that was all net.
Well, Overton's doing it all for the Hawks at the moment. He has 11 points right now. I can't remember him missing a shot. He's shooting very, very well. If he has missed any, it's at least could only be one.
And it's the Hawks that lead by 11. Ellis to Hinchin. Back to Ellis. Bounce pass. Hansen. Hansen puts up the shot and gets the two. He's got 5 for the night.
A strong move by Hansen to go inside against this matchup zone. David Lindstrom always varies his defences. He's doing it well tonight. It makes the opposition think and has them adjusting their matchups all the time.
Opened it. This is Hubbard. Wants Overton again.
That sound you heard was the warning buzzer of the 10 seconds. Of course, they've got 30 seconds to effect the shot. They get a 10-second warning. That's all Chuck Harmison needed to pull the trigger, give his team a nice handy lead with 4 minutes remaining before quarter time.
Ellis brings it down scoreless in the last 2 games, Mike Ellis.
Paid the price for that tonight. Also, somewhat of a sacrifice because all of the team have been down in points production.
Laha from long range. Hansen working overtime underneath the basket. Got his own rebound. That's Strent. Tries to put up the shot. This time it didn't go. And the Hawks get the ball. Hubbard brings it down.
Strong move by Hansen. He's limping a little bit. Sustained a cork thigh muscle at practice last night.
Hawks in early control. They lead by 11. We've got 3:25 left in the first quarter. Overton with 11 points tonight. This is Hubbard, a Boomer squad member, wants to go to Barcelona this year. Back to Overton. He goes looking for Thomas, who's tangled up with Crawford.
Maybe a hand foul on Crawford. Thomas was isolated on the left-hand side of the court. Talking about Barcelona, that man in your picture, Billy Mildenhall, he's been selected by FIBA, the international body, to officiate at the Barcelona games. James Crawford sits down. Tiny Pinder, celebrating his 36th birthday today on Anzac Day, comes in for the Perth Wildcats.
Hubbard, baseline, given room to move and gets the roll. And all of a sudden there's 13 points in this game.
Well, there's only 3 before quarter time, 3 minutes remaining. Already Illawarra have 27 points.
Blahoff, Hinchin from outside, works his way to the top of the key. Inside pass, nice one for Blahoff, who gets 2.
Nice reverse layup on the left-hand side for Blahoff. That gives his team 16 points, but they still trail by 11 for Illawarra, who have 27.
Overton went looking for Harmison. A scrap on the floor. Harmison's got it, and they call a jump.
Almost a dainty little reach in there from Vince Hinchin to affect the tie-up situation. He'll go for the jump against Stephen Voss here, who's done a very good job on the offensive boards.
Well, John, there's no question about it. Illawarra, a much improved side last year, second last in the league, 6-20 their record, and no doubt the acquisition of Overton and Thomas have improved them immeasurably.
Well, they've certainly cleaned out, Peter. They've dropped quite a few players. They've lost Taylor. They've lost Fairs. They've come up with some very good mobile players.
Big rebound by Tiny Pinder. Crowd love that. Ellis goes to Hinchin. Hinchin baseline. Thought about going all the way, puts up the shot. Battling hard. Blahoff, he got a hand in there. It comes back to Pinder. The open man, the shot was short.
Tiny needed to make that one.
We welcome the Capital Television broadcasting in southern New South Wales to the Entertainment Centre and to our telecast. And with 1:52 left in the first quarter, the Hawks are off to a great start. They lead at 27-16. Pinter gets 2 and brings the deficit back to 8 now. And for the Hawks, Overton has set the place alight with 11 points. Withers has 6 and Harmison 6. While for the Cats, their leading scorer is Andrew Vlahoff with 7. Been a big start by the visitors, John.
Been almost a frenetic start. Been up-tempo. That has suited the Hawks. This man in picture, Overton, already stamping his mark on this match.
Justin Withers had a big game against the North Melbourne Giants last week. To Harmison. Withers for 3. And they're shooting the lights out here.
And that's where the Hawks can really hurt you. They've got good three-point range. There's the coaching staff of the Wildcats in picture. Murray Arnold, most concerned with the tempo. Pete Hansen sits down. There's some concern for the Wildcats as Hansen lips to the bench. He sustained a corked right thigh muscle in practice last night. He'll have to brush that aside. He's got a lot of work to do in this match. His team's trailing by 30 points to 19. About a minute remaining before quarter time.
Ellis with the ball. He didn't start tonight, replaced in the 5 for the first time in his career. He's got the ball now, wants to go all the way, throws up the shot and scores his first points in 3 games.
They've got a substitution here, of course. The NBL, as opposed to most of the leagues in Australia, allow a substitution after the made shot on the baseline. That sometimes disrupts play, and I suspect it may have robbed Illawarra of a basket at that point. Chuck Harmison sits down. Craig Adams comes in. Craig Adams is another acquisition to the Hawks roster. Dean McDonald has also come in. There's Mike Ellis underneath on that replay. Boy, he'll be happy to see that one go through the net. That's the first points he's had for about 3 matches.
Inside a minute, Overton went to the floor. Pinter at the other end lost the handle on it.
Well, good outlet pass by Ellis. Pinder not quite able to gather that in. Probably a little aware of Craig Adams behind him on the fast break there. Tiny Pinder celebrating his 36th birthday today for the Perth Wildcats. Looking to have a big impact.
So the Hawks have Adams, this man Overton, also McDonald. We've got Boyce and the veteran Harmison, the 5 out there for the Hawks are going very well. They lead by 9. It's with Justin Withers now at the top of the key. Pinder did well, got a hand in there. Adams keeps it alive.
They're scrapping in front of our commentary position. I guess a jump ball has to be the best call to be made. Billy Mildenhall in picture there, suggesting that they should cool it. He has it under control. Peter Lucas will come up and effect the throw-up. James Crawford will go up against Stephen Voss, and Stephen Voss has been very impressive with his leaping on the offensive boards, and he won't get a tougher test than what he will find against James Crawford here. There you go, Crawford came up with the ball to Vlahoff. Vlahoff couldn't draw it in, and the Hawks came up with possession, and it probably will be the last possession of this quarter. Crawford with a reject on the way down. It's counted as goaltending. I guess there's 8,000 fans here don't agree with Billy Mildenhall's judgment, but of course if the ball is on its downward flight or above the cylinder of the ring and has a chance of going in, it cannot be interfered with.
So the Hawks by 11 and the Wildcats looking to have the last play of the first quarter. There's 18 seconds left in the quarter. Watterson's got it to Vlahoff. Back to Watterson.
Hawks persisting in this matchup zone now, trying to find their people at each time. Sagging to the centre to combat the power of the Wildcats.
Watterson puts it up for 3. That was well off the mark. And it'll be quarter time with the Hawks in command after the first change. Illawarra lead at 32. Perth are 21.
Monday, war memories haunt a lonely man, but a journey of remembrance
We're on our way.
uncovers a happy past,
We fought a war together, didn't we?
a lost love,
Are you really that beautiful young man?
and forgotten friends.
If you can't cry for them, who can you cry for?
A touching story with Robert Mitchum, Deborah Carr, and Red Buttons recapturing the past with old friends. Reunion at Fairborough, 8:35 Monday on Golden West Television.
Help, I need somebody. Help, not just anybody. Help, you know I need someone. Help. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. Won't you please, please help me, help me.
Just try to resist this.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to.
If you want to reduce your fuel consumption, you need an engine with the O2 advantage. In short, you need a Toyota Twin Camry.
Southwest of Perth, you're in another country, and we can show you how to experience it leisurely. You can see it all and return at night to luxury. At the Law Forest, we know how to do it perfectly. The Southwest's only international luxury. At the Law Forest, we know how to do it perfectly.
If you're an owner builder, then you need expert advice and assistance, and that's exactly what you'll get from the crew at Metro Albany. They'll not only give you the right advice, but they supply steel mesh for sturdy foundations, precision door frames, durable steel wall studs, stylish Colorbond roofing and gutters right down to the meter box. If you want your new home to stand the test of time, then build it as tough as steel with Metro Albany. Because from the ground up, Metro really is the right way to go.
And welcome back to the Perth Entertainment Centre. Quarter time in this NBL clash between the Perth Wildcats and the Illawarra Hawks, and the Hawks lead it 33-21. And right on the buzzer we saw Andrew Vlahoff foul this man McDonald. McDonald went to the line and actually scored a point after the buzzer.
Little reaching foul there from Andrew Vlahoff. Came behind. McDonald came up with one, missed the second one. Increased their score by one, gave them a score line of 33-21. The Illawarra Hawks, with David Lindstrom in command there, will be very happy with his team's lead. Their up-tempo match has given them 33 points at quarter time against an average of about 25. They've been averaging 100 points a match so far, so they're very much on target to do better than that tonight. Whilst the Wildcats are struggling, 21 points is beneath the mark that they'd be setting themselves.
Well, the Cats have struggled in recent weeks to score, just 76 against the Melbourne Tigers. Excuses that night though, but last week here at the Entertainment Centre restricted to 82 by the Sydney Kings. So still problems in the offence for the reigning NBL champions of the past 2 years. And we're off in the second quarter then, and the Hawks with first use of the ball. This is Overton, 11-point first quarter with the first play.
Not only an 11-point first quarter, David, but at a very good shooting clip out there. 80% from the floor and 100% from beyond the three-point line. As a matter of fact, the Hawks have shot at 67% from the floor as a team against the Wildcats at 35.
The Cats forced a turnover. It comes to Ellis, back to Vlahoff. Vlahoff gets the roll.
Vlahoff's down under the basket, but that was a nice, strong effort for Vlahoff. He's certainly been running a lot more, getting the ball on the backboard that time. Got a little friendly roll, 23-33, a little 10-point cushion there for the Hawks.
Withers with 9 tonight so far. Thomas with just 2. Adams thought about Hubbard, turning jumper, Withers, and that was all met.
Well, that's the second one from that position tonight from Justin Withers, and he's one of the best streak shooters in the NBL. A former Rookie of the Year in the NBL, one of the most underestimated players, one of the better Australian content in this league.
But the Hawks controlling the tempo. They lead by 12. Crawford back out to Ellis. Pinder set the screen. Watterson goes to Vlahoff, double teamed. Open man is Ellis. This is for 3.
Well, 8,000 fans here are telling you that Mike Ellis has been on track with 2 from 2 tonight. One was a layup, the second one was that shot there, and they are the first points he scored for about 4 matches, so he's a lot happier, even though he was demoted from the lineup tonight for the first time in 11 years.
Overton, that was for 3, didn't go, and Pinder drags down the rebound. The Hawks led it by 9. Crawford, can he set him alight? This is Vlahoff underneath, strong move, gets No, it's a charge against Vlahov.
Well, Vlahov had the easier shot on the near side of the basket, elected to go underneath because of the trailing defender, found Adams in a stationary position. Not only did he give him the shot 26 to 35, yes, he's come up with the 2 points. That's his second foul, and the Wildcats trailed 35 to 26.
Vlahov with 9 tonight. Overton. Thomas set the screen. Ellis in the face of Overton, goes for the long pass, and Thomas backing up as Hubbard, and Hubbard gets 2.
Lucks of fortune, good help defence there by Andrew Vlahov, deflected the ball, but Hubbard was in the right place, trailing the play, and came up with the scraps.
Hawks by 11. 37 plays 26. Watterson, Vlahov left open for 2. Will punish you from there.
Andrew Vlahov scored 21 last week in a losing team against the Kings, and he's hell-bent on scoring more tonight. Already has 11.
What about this 5 out there at the present time, John? We've got Watterson, Ellis, Pinder, Vlahov and Crawford.
Well, the thing that's impressing me at the moment is this man in picture here, Overton, and the better defensive job that Mike Ellis is doing on Overton.
Adams cleans up for 2.
Strong move by Craig Adams, recruited this year from the Southern Melbourne Saints, has been somewhat of a journeyman in the NBL over the last 3 years. He's doing a good, strong effort there for the Hawks on the boards. And of course, Peter Hansen now comes in. Andrew Vlahov sits down. He'll need a quick breather to regain his composure. Played very, very well so far for the Wildcats.
11 points as he sat down, 71% from the field. Watterson in the face of Overton.
This little 2-3 match-up zone. Certainly they did their homework, the Hawks. They saw that'll be a foul on Tiny Pinder.
Take that.
Tiny Pinder has thrown the ball to Billy Mildenhall. Mildenhall wasn't quite ready.
Look-away pass.
Well, Mildenhall didn't want to receive it where he got it either.
No doubt about Tiny Pinder, as John mentioned earlier on. 36 today. They want to celebrate tonight. Illawarra lead it by 11. The Cats get a turnover.
Wildcats pushing it down the floor now. Ellis penetrating, looking to dish off. Hansen couldn't get the handle on it there. It was a tough pass to pick up. Hubbard likes to go all the way here. Finds Overton outside the 3-point lane. He's unsuccessful. A big, emphatic rebound by Tiny Pinder.
That's his 4th defensive rebound tonight. Pinder dropped from the starting 5 last week. Hansen goes looking for the foul and gets it.
Jesus, Hansen's spending some time on the floor right now. He's struggling, got a big heart, but he'll need it out there because the Hawks are not going to allow any easy ones underneath. Adams took Vlahov's legs from under him. Vlahov will go to the foul line. In the act of shooting, of course, he gets the chance from the foul line to make what he was robbed of by virtue of the foul. He'll get 2 attempts here.
Hansen 24 points against Geelong in the season opener, 20 against Hobart, 22 against the Tigers and 21 last week against Sydney. And Johnny's been a model of consistency in his 2nd season in the league.
Well, he's been the Wildcats' best player in my book, Hansen, an overachiever against players in a league that has improved this year.
Well, he comes away empty-handed from that trip at the line. Hubbard brings it down. We've got 8:15 left in the second quarter. The Hawks lead 39 to 28. Harmison. Shot put up by Thomas for 2. That's his 4th point tonight.
Quiet so far, Thomas, but been very effective. When he has elected to shoot, he's been very proficient.
Ellis, the skip pass. Hinchin, baseline. Will that go? No. Hansen brings it down like a footballer.
Well, Hansen's got out there with a great second effort. The ball has been very close from the backcourt. He's made a lot of ground. Got a hand to the ball in desperation. Justin Withers has reached across the top. So see the ball come down here. Withers has reached across the top. Hansen's legs haven't been grounded and he's fallen down. Withers come up with a foul. Wildcats have got possession back and a new shot clock.
Hinchin inside. Ellis, the hook shot. That's a great move by Ellis.
Mike Ellis, 7 points, shooting at 75% from the floor. But more importantly, Peter, Overton hasn't scored since about 4 minutes before quarter time when Ellis came on, was given the job defensively on him. And Ellis has done a marvellous defensive job in the last 2 or 3 matches. As we mentioned earlier in the telecast, he's paid the price for not shooting the ball well, but is rectifying that already tonight.
Yes, he's a man who means business tonight, Mike Ellis. Stung by the dropping from the starting 5. Pinder's shot was short, and Hubbard brings it up. No doubt, I think that's really inspired Ellis to try and produce something tonight, John.
Well, Ellis has been the only captain the Wildcats have had. We don't want to harp on that, but that is why, because he has a marvellous character, never gives in, and he has responded to the challenge. But talking about challenges here tonight, we've got a timeout, and David Lindstrom wants to talk things over while his Hawks lead the Wildcats 43-30.
A game of cops and robbers, and Roz is on the warpath looking for office enemy number 1. LA Law, 9:30 Tuesday on GWM.
Help, I need somebody. Help, not just anybody. Help, you know I need someone. Help. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. Won't you please, please help me, help me, help me.
Toyota strong, Toyota proud, Toyota at its best.
Farm Power. Great deals on the full range of Toyota sedans, commercials and four-wheel drives. All backed by a modern service division and a great range of parts. Service, strength and reliability right here in the heart of the wheat belt. Farm Power is Toyota at its best.
Toyota strong, Toyota proud, Toyota at its best.
And 6:55 remaining second quarter. The Hawks lead by 13. John, at quarter time they led by 12.
Well, it's a slow build if you look at it. If it's only one, and they've done it well.
Our man courtside tonight is Tim Gossage. Good evening, Tim.
Good evening to you, Peter. Dave Lindstrom told his players to be patient and walk the ball down the court just to slow down the tempo. And Pete Hansen is nowhere near 100% fit. He has an injured thigh and has had ice on it on a number of occasions tonight.
Well, they can ill afford to lose him from this contest, trailing by 13.
See if we can pick up any change here now. Already looks as if they're trailing Grace. Overton's staying with Grace at all situations. Looks like they've matched up to man out this time now. No, it looks almost like a boxing one to me. We'll have to watch a little bit closer where they're staying on Ricky Grace, trying to give Ricky Grace the absolute nightmares. Overton with a fumble out there. Harmison, under a little bit of pressure, got the ball back to Overton. Went out of bounds, of course, and the Wildcats come up with it. Ricky Grace with 3 fouls back into the Wildcats roster.
Hinchin underneath gets 2. Hinchin with 4 tonight. As we mentioned, came into the starting 5 in place of Mike Ellis. They need something special from their Geelong recruit this year.
Ooh, there's a little contact out there. Vlahoff shouldering Thomas to the top of the key. Thomas comes up with that sweet left hand, and not so good with the result, though.
There's Grace to Ellis. Ellis, fall-away jumper. Nice block by Thomas. Grace puts up the shot for 3. Can't get it to go. I think Ellis might be called for that.
Well, Mike Ellis took the shot early and didn't have any success with it. Really came across to try and pick up that loose ball, as you can see. Never really had much of a chance. Thomas grimacing a little. Might have just cramped his ankle a little bit as he's gone down. Mike Ellis's first foul.
Hubbard, 25-year-old, veteran of 125 NBL games. This is Thomas. Back to Withers. Now, Withers had a big game against the Giants. 28 points that night. This is the veteran Harmison. Good block by Vlahoff. Sends Hansen away. Behind his back, he's lost it.
Not quite Hansen's forte, dribbling with the man of Overton's skill and speed. And Hansen came up without the ball.
Overton gets it back out to Hubbard. Fall-away jumper. Can't go. Crawford or Grace rather got a hand on that. But the Cats get it from the side.
Well, it came off Harmison eventually, and Ricky Grace comes up with possession. 43 plays 32 in favour of Illawarra, and we've got 5 minutes before half-time.
Hinchin through Thomas. Beautiful assist of Vlahoff. He gets the roll, and that's 13 points tonight for Vlahoff.
That was a beautiful move by Hinchin. That's what he does best. He penetrated the ball on the dribble, got past his man, drew the defence. Vlahoff was able to go on the baseline. A little look-away pass by Hinchin. Very well executed.
So the spread, a single digit now. 9 points the difference. Illawarra 43, the Cats 34.
Critical time of the ball game here for the Wildcats. They want to make sure they make more inroads to this little cushion that the Hawks have.
Withers for three. No good. Big rebound by Hanson.
Pete Hanson comes up with what will be his 5th rebound.
Grace out to Ellis. Hanson for three. Short. And Withers brings in the rebound. So 4.5 minutes left before half-time. Cats, you get the impression, coming back into this game now. Harmison to Overton. Thomas on the bench at the present time. They've got Withers, Hubbard, Overton, who's got the ball now. Also Vose. They're 5 out there. Hubbard for three, and that hurt.
Well, that's where Hubbard can hurt you badly. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the league and has the license to pull the trigger from out there. Whilst they've shut Overton down via Mike Ellis, he's done a marvellous defensive job once more on one of the profile players of the league. Hubbard's hurting them.
Blahoff. They'll call that against Vose.
Vose has come up with a body foul there. He's been in against Blahoff trying to stop it. We've got a timeout now. There's barely 3 minutes 47 remaining before half-time, and the Illawarra Hawks have consolidated. They're leading 46-34 over the Wildcats.
A world of darkness, a blind concert pianist, and a musical dimension for Sam. Quantum Leap, 8:35 Wednesday on GWM.
Right now, every Bunnings store is offering 5 to 50% off for 5 days, including every day of the long weekend. Rush in for unbelievable bargains, like this Ventilla just $14.95. 30-kilogram lawn food is $15.90. Spring fence coat is only $9.95. This long-handled pole pruner is half price at $22.95. And get 2 rolls of gutter guard for just $5. 5 to 50% off hundreds of items for 5 days only, including all-day Anzac Saturday. Hurry!
Pat Bunnings.
Presenting the Wheels Magazine Car of the Year, the new Nissan Pulsar with 25% more power than Laser, 10% better economy than Corolla, and technology you won't see in Honda Civic, like remote control alarm and optional ABS brakes, making the zippy new Pulsar Australia's best small car.
It's a Nissan, that's my car.
And back at the entertainment centre, as you can see, the Illawarra Hawks 12 points clear. We've got 3:47 left in the first half. The Wildcats will get the ball from the side. Mike Ellis, a big defensive job, John, on Overton since coming on.
Well, that's characterised throughout the last couple of games. If we cast our mind back to the game against the Melbourne Tigers, he did a marvellous job against Andrew Gaze. He just needs to pick up his offensive skills, as do the Wildcats, and they want a lot more of that.
7 points for Hanson tonight. And the spread, 10. Hawks in front, 3:27 left in the half. Withers has got it. Overton at the top. Shut down by Ellis. Hasn't scored a point since Ellis picked up Overton. Vose, man born in Perth, developed his basketball in the Siebel competition.
Was recruited by David Lindstrom, who's now contesting possession with Peter Lucas on the sideline, claiming that his player didn't go out of court. Developed his basketball and then was transferred from Bankstown across to Illawarra this year. David Lindstrom's recruited speed and mobility rather than size.
Grace, 2-point first half. Basket doesn't count.
Well, he wasn't granted the continuation. We've got not only no score, we've got an offensive foul on Peter Hanson for an illegal block. Peter Lucas has been in a fairly good position there as we can pick it up. He's turned and put his butt out, and he should have been stationed. You cannot move on the screen. That's an illegal screen.
Inside 3 minutes. Withers, open man. Here's the man we're talking about. Bose gave it to Hubbard, working against Grace. Overton got it to Hubbard. This is for 2. No good. Good trail then by...
Well, great move by Withers. Withers came through. There was a lack of blocking out there. I suspect Hinchin may have been on Withers at the time. But as the defence collapsed, Withers found the room with an easy roll and put it back in.
Hanson from the line, and he gets that to go.
That looked a much more comfortable shot by Pete Hanson. That brings up his 9th point. He has also 4 rebounds. brings the Wildcats up to 38. They still trail the Illawarra Hawks by 10. That man in picture has been brought back in now, Melvin Thomas, to give the Illawarra Hawks a little more punch as they take the last 2 minutes before half-time.
Overton played the first half unchanged. Armisen to Hubbard. In the face of Grace, he went looking for Thomas, and the Hawks retained the ball from the side. Blahoff got a hand in there.
Nice match-up there, Peter, with Thomas and Andrew Blahoff. A lot of body, a lot of mobility from both of these players. They're both genuine three players in this league, and by three players we're talking about people that can play inside and out. We've got a timeout here. David Lindstrom's called the timeout barely 2 minutes before half-time, and his club has a 10-point lead over the home.
Contact with an ancient people and a fatal attraction for Lieutenant Yar. Star Trek The Next Generation, 7:35 Wednesday on GWN.
No one's here just for the ride. There's a job to do, and we do it with pride.
Westrac's commitment to back up and support for Caterpillar owners and operators throughout Western Australia is total.
Now we're working together, we're a powerful team.
And Westrac has demonstrated that commitment with actions, not words, by installing the most advanced high-tech parts and service computer system in Australia. Westrac.
In both the NRMA and Motor Magazine Awards, Mitsubishi recently won the important Best Family Sedan category with the new TR Magna. NRMA's road test engineer Bob Hudson justified selecting the Magna in a category previously dominated by Ford and Holden by saying the TR Magna imparted a feeling of class and solidity in the way it looked and drove that put it ahead of the pack.
Got 2:11 left in the half. The Hawks have led the first half throughout. They lead at the present time by 10. And that timeout called by David Lindstrom. Tim Gossage was in the huddle.
Yes, Peter, Dave Lindstrom said that he notices the Wildcats are trying to isolate Ricky Grace. He doesn't want the ball to get in Grace's hands at all costs.
Armisen's got it at the present time. Overton. This is Thomas working against Blahoff. Nice pass, and Armisen gets the two.
Hansen helping out with Blahoff there, paid the price. As Armisen, with all those years of experience, found the extra space and a nice handy two-pointer for the Hawks.
They lead by 12. Inside 2 minutes now. Blahoff working against Armisen, and they'll call that against the veteran of 254 NBL games.
Smart move by Blahoff. Even though he was fouled, he continued the shot, and if it had have been successful, of course, we'll see this. There's the foul, but he continued the shot, hopeful of getting a successful result that would have given him a chance at the three-point play. Now he's only got 2 foul shots because he was in the act of shooting, so the maximum he can get is 2 for the play. Not even that.
He's averaging 77% from the line this year, John. 4th game back, 16 points against Hobart. His first game of the season. Remember, he made a late start with an ankle injury. 18 against Melbourne, 21 against Sydney. He's going great guns tonight with 14.
I'd predict a very successful season for Andrew Blahoff this year. Far more commanding and emphatic season, I suspect, as he's given more licence and more freedom. Second year in the NBL.
A minute and a half left, as you can see, in this half. Hawks lead by 11.
Well, that's Andrew Blahoff at his aggressive best. He was reaching across there. Adjudged to have got an unfair advantage by reaching across and holding. That's his 3rd foul. They will probably sub him out. There it is in picture. Well, you can judge for yourself on the contact. They are always judgment calls, and difficult ones not to call, and also difficult sometimes to understand. Blahoff goes to the bench, replaced by Tiny Pinder. And, of course, that's the 5th team foul for the Wildcats. That'll put Melvin Thomas on the foul line, and he has one chance, and if he gets this one, he gets a second. Made the first one, so he gets the second. Of course, the reason they do that, Peter, is that he wasn't in a shooting situation, so he's got to earn these just a little bit more than if he was in a shooting situation.
Thomas, 86% from the line this year, the 5th best in the league, and he made 2 from 2 then. 52 plays 39, Illawarra by 13. Remembering they led by 12 at quarter time. Hitch from long range and got the friendly roll for 3.
Oh, that's a good roll there. And what have we got? We've got a foul called here. Let's see if we can pick it up. The basket counts. The foul is on 32, is it, Thomas? Picked it up, and of course, one of the changes that's been made, Peter, is that last year, that particular call, you see, as the shot goes in, that's successful. You can see the foul, and that wouldn't have counted because of the same play phase. But the fouls stand alone now, and because of the 5th foul, even though it wasn't a shooting foul, Tiny Pinder now goes to the foul line. He gets a chance at a one-on-one situation.
Well, Pinder has been kept to single figures in the past 3 games. 8 points against Sydney, 2 against Melbourne, 6 from Hobart.
So you've got to keep that in context with a 12-point average last year. He's well down, needs to pick it up tonight.
Averaging just 20 minutes a game too this year, John. So all of a sudden it's back to 8, so that's a big play for the Wildcats.
It's a big turnaround, and that's when the foul situations can make an enormous difference in the ball game.
So just over a minute left in the half, and the Cats back in this game now. Overton from long range.
And what a time for Overton to be successful. That's his first basket since about the 4 minutes before quarter time, and he's come up for his team when they needed it.
Back to a 10-point spread. Pinder goes looking for Hanson, double-teamed. Stripped of the ball. Thomas was the last to handle that.
Well, that's Endeavour. Hanson lost control. Ball went to the Hawks. They lost control. Overton's seen something that he wants to tell his teammates about. I suspect it's the shot clock, 15, and we've got a timeout now. Murray Arnold's called the timeout. We've got 41 seconds remaining before half-time, and this becomes tactics all over. We've got a situation here where they're querying the shot clock as well. Whether they've got a 15-second shot clock or whether they've got a 30-second shot clock. Maybe Tim Gossage can keep an eye on it for us. You can see that in picture, of course. That indicates to the player the number of seconds they have left to affect the shot. At the moment it's 15, which means as the Wildcats come back in after this timeout, they'll be looking for a special play.
Yeah, 41.5 seconds left in the half. Illawarra lead 54-44. And I got the impression the longer the second quarter went, the more the Wildcats got back in this game.
They seem to find their rhythm a little bit more, and of course you can't underestimate, and we talked about it earlier, the fact that Overton just scored his first points after absolutely blitzing Ricky Grace. He got 3 fouls called on Ricky Grace in the first quarter, and he had 11 points, and he shot with about 80% accuracy, if my memory is correct. They've done a much better job on him through Mike Ellis in the second quarter. That's taken away a large part of their offensive armament, and if they can continue to do that, I suspect that they might just wear the Hawks down. But you can't underestimate the Illawarra Hawks. There was a saying years ago, it's tough handling a Hawk, and they're out there to prove that they're a very creditable team this year.
So the Cats, no doubt, with the set play. Ellis to inbound it. They've got Hanson, Hinchin, Pinder, and Watterson the 5. This is Watterson. Hinchin left open.
10 seconds warning.
To 8 now. Inside to Hanson, and he got the roll.
Successful, but they've still got 1 possession to defend. Now, on the other hand, of course, Peter, Illawarra now will only want to take 1 possession, or most clubs would. They want to work it through, run the clock down, and make sure the Wildcats don't get another chance to narrow this gap.
14 seconds left in the half.
They're clearing out now on Overton. Ellis is isolated. They want Overton to go one-on-one. Watterson has gone to help. Hubbard has found the room because of that and been able to take the shot. Wildcats possession, Wildcats ball, 3.3 seconds remaining.
Well, we'll have to be quick. The clock doesn't start, though, until the pass is handled by someone from the inbound. This is Hinchin. Spectacular attempt as well short. He did make a big basket in Melbourne a few weeks ago.
Sure did, from way beyond the half-point line, but not so well tonight.
Okay, so it's half-time. The Hawks lead 54, Wildcats 46.
The big decision.
What does your family mean to you? Everything.
For women in the 90s.
I'm going to have my own company.
Kids.
It looks horrible. A wonderful feeling to be pregnant.
Or career.
How many times a week would you eat out? Just about every night? Never.
Frozen in time.
The hand, the head.
For 5,000 years.
Came up from the ice.
How the Iceman reveals his secrets.
And perhaps in 200 years more time, we'll get the guy to talk.
Mitsubishi presents 60 Minutes, 7:35 Sunday.
Badgers dig deep burrows called sets, from which they emerge after dark to find food. They attack fiercely if disturbed, but if left alone, are peaceful animals. If you've got a new Laser GL worth $17,000, RAC Motorguard insurance will only cost you $362.70. Can you afford not to have the best when it costs you no more? Phone us on 421 4333 and find out how little you'll pay to cover your car with RAC Motorguard Total Protection.
Right now, every Bunnings store is offering 5 to 50% off for 5 days, including every day of the long weekend. Rush in for unbelievable bargains, like this bow saw, $3.95, just $3.95. 10 kilogram blood and bone is $6.50. CRC is just $4.95. Leaf brake is $3.95. And this indoor-outdoor broom is only $9.50. 5 to 50% off hundreds of items for 5 days only, including all-day Anzac Saturday. Hurry!
Pat Bunnings!
The Magumba Heritage Committee is pleased to present a photographic exhibition of photos from the Moore River Native Settlement from 1917 to 1965. The exhibition will be showing on these dates at the following locations: in Bunbury, Collie, Mount Barker, Albany, Katanning, Narrogin and Brookton. The Moore River Native Settlement photographic exhibition is funded by Healthways for the National Heart Foundation to promote the message, "Be Smoke Free."
Busselton's Broadwater Beach Resort, the perfect holiday real estate property. Imagine your own luxury villa with all the normal negative gearing opportunities where you can stay anytime you like. Or have your villa earn a tourism-driven income with no worries about management, maintenance or security. It's the ideal second home investment. Call now for details on the strata title luxury villas at Busselton's Broadwater Beach Resort.
Toyota strong, Toyota proud, Toyota at its best.
At Narrogin Toyota, you'll get a great deal on a full range of Toyota sedans, commercials and four-wheel drives. Great backup from a sophisticated service division, plus a wide range of genuine Toyota parts. Narrogin Toyota, service, strength and reliability right here in the heart of the Great Southern.
Toyota strong, Toyota proud, Toyota at its best.
Welcome back to the Perth Entertainment Centre. Very interesting first half with the Illawarra Hawks leading by 8, 54 to 46. The Wildcats made a nice move in that second part of the second quarter, John.
Yes, they were coming back very, very strongly, and we made mention of it in the ball-by-ball situation, how well they were doing in the latter part of that second quarter. They've got to go on with it now. And if we pick it up in some of the highlights, of course, that man in picture, Harmison, started so well, as did all of the Hawks. Andrew Vlahoff, boy, he's had a big impact on the game. 14
points in the first half, John, the game's leading scorer so far.
And I guess it's not so much the score in my words, it's the way Andrew Vlahoff has been so positive in his actions out there.
What about Mike Ellis's first half?
Well, I'm a Mike Ellis fan. I've watched him play for a long time. It takes a great deal of character to take that demotion after all that time. Maybe just took the monkey off his back a little bit too and made him relax out there with his shooting.
There's the quarter by quarters then. Illawarra led it big at quarter time, 33 to 21. That was a 12-point deficit then for the Wildcats, but back to 8 now at the half. 54 plays 46. What about these figures, John?
Well, they're the statistics that really count, and the field shooting percentage is the one we should look at. 42 to the Wildcats. They're not happy with that. They were a 50% shooting team last year. The Hawks have to be happy with 58. That's excellent. Foul shooting percentage at 60%, well down for the Wildcats. That's been concerning them all year, and they're being beaten in the rebound battle, which is unusual for them. But if we come back to that field shooting percentage, if we remember at quarter time, the Wildcats were shooting at 35% and the Hawks at 67%. The increased intensity on defense has certainly helped the Wildcats catch up.
The game's high scorers so far, Andrew Vlahoff with 14, Hanson in double figures as well with 11, and for the Hawks, Overton 13, but kept quiet as that second half progressed. Withers with 13, Harmison 10. Well, during the week, big news for WA State basketball with the announcement of a new sponsor. The R&I Bank has decided to back basketball. Here's what took place. The fast-growing State Basketball League, regarded as the best state competition in the country.
It's gone from virtually nothing to one of the premier leagues outside of the NBL in Australia. And, you know, I mean, Luke Longley's played in the league himself. Guys that are coming up in the league and into, you know, the forefront of Australian basketball. It's really on the go.
SBL during the week received a further boost. Substantial sponsorship with the R&I Bank.
We are delighted that the R&I Bank have agreed to become our major sponsor. We think it's most appropriate that the R&I Bank are involved with the State Basketball League because we both share very similar state interests, and we are sure that we'll go on to bigger and better things in the future.
The father figure of the Perth Wildcats, Bob Williams, made the announcement it was to be his last duty as retiring president of the WA Basketball Federation. The sponsorship was in the tens of thousands of dollars. The SBL would now be known as the R&I State League.
The State Basketball League has developed quite quickly over the last few years, and this really helps us to keep that progress going. And we've got 3 new women's teams this year, and it's a very exciting phase of our growth. And the R&I has really ensured that that keeps going now.
Simon Leinig, a hard-working servant. You'll be wrapped with that news during the week, John?
Yes, it's great to see the State Basketball League going from strength to strength and being supported by the State Bank. It's the good feeder league to the NBL right now, and it's certainly going from strength.
Okay, thanks, John. 8 points the gap then at half-time. Wildcats trailer. We'll be back with more shortly.
Schoolgirl friends.
I'm pregnant.
And their marriage to brothers
Not another soldier.
It runs in the family.
will come at a price.
We go away for 3 months.
They both married the army.
You'll be away for the baby.
Follow the heartbreak
You're not welcome.
of families in conflict
You want me to call you sir?
and life beyond the army.
Doing.
An Australian production. Presented by Retrovision and Telecom.
Staying in this place any longer.
Army Wives, Wednesday 9:35 on GWM.
Why pay rent or be a slave to a mortgage you can't afford? With Bovell Homes' high-tech modular housing system, you can save thousands of dollars on your new home. Bovell's large low-cost designs are built from around $20,000, and even our biggest 6-bedroom home is less than $45,000. Come and see our colonial display home this weekend and discover the massive savings available to you. See page 3 of the Sunday Times Reader's Mart for display home details.
What's the most you'll pay for a 5-minute STD call to anywhere in Australia?
$10, $15?
$12, $15, $6 to $10, something like that.
$6.
Or about $7.
$15. Easy.
Well, it might surprise you, but the absolute most a 5-minute call to anywhere in Australia can cost is only $2.75. And it's even cheaper during off-peak times.
I thought it'd be a bit more than that. Honest to goodness.
Telecom STD. Isn't there someone you should be calling right now?
Diesel. Waited long enough. Now at last, Hep Fidelity is here. Get it now.
It takes imagination to create a car that outstyles, like the outstanding Mazda 323 Estina, designed to outstyle, engineered to perform. The Mazda 323 Estina is fashioned for excellence, and the Mazda 121 is a magic little number that's about to reshape your thinking on compact cars. Because compact has never been more spacious and comfortable. See Barry Rule and his Mazda team at Spencer Motors Bunbury for the unrivaled quality of Mazda.
And the Hawks on the court. They lead it by 8 at halftime, 54-46. Well, it's back to school next week for some young children. It will be a holiday long remembered, especially for the kids who attended the Ricky Grace Camp of Champs.
The Camp of Champs has kids from 9 to 15. Just it ranges from all social groups. We're just having a good time with the campers. We just wanted to give an opportunity to the kids to meet some of the Wildcats, to learn a lot of the skills of the game from me. I love working with kids, especially when I think I can contribute And, you know, that's what I've been trying to do during this past week, myself and the other coaches. We just show the kids a few of the basic fundamentals of the game, because that's the most important part of the game. And I enjoy working with the kids. I do it on a regular basis, James Crawford and myself, with the Junior Supporters Club. But this is one chance that I can live in with the kids, just really establish a relationship with the kids, and I've really been enjoying it.
Great to see Ricky Grace giving back to basketball quiet tonight with just 2 points. And for all Ricky Grace fans, a special lift-out poster in tomorrow's Sunday Times, no doubt. John, you're going to hang that up in your study?
I'll have one of them.
Okay, well, this week there was much talk of the NBL expanding further, but the big news story concerned the Hobart Devils and the sacking of their 2 American imports. Around the league and the build-up to week 4 of the regular season centred on Hobart Devils coach Carl Bruton. Bruton's Devils are 0-4 this year, and as a result of the poor start, he sacked his 2 American imports, guard Ken McFadden and forward Anthony Welsh. But was Bruton next in the firing line?
I think I got the total backing of the board, and you know, they have given me the opportunity here to run this program and do it the best way I see fit. And I'll be the first to tell you and everyone else, if I don't think I can handle it, I will gladly pack my bags and move on.
The Devils have brought back Joe Hurst, a former MVP of the league with Hobart, and have recruited Donald Whiteside from the WA State League. Whiteside has dominated in the SBL with the Goldfields Giants. He previously tried out with the Devils in the off-season. Now he gets his chance, but his sights are set higher than the NBL.
You know, hopefully one day, you know, it could be a step to hopefully one day playing in the NBA back home, you know, and that's my ultimate goal.
So the Wildcats down by 8 at the half. Murray Arnold is standing by to talk with Tim Gossage.
Yes, Murray, what did you think of the first half?
Well, obviously we played better in the second quarter than the first quarter. Illawarra is playing very well, shooting the ball extremely well from outside, and we just got to dig defensively and get it going a little better offensively. But was encouraged with our comeback in the second quarter that at least keeps us in the hunt to try to get after him this half.
Mike Ellis has been impressive.
Mike's played very hard and very well defensively. We've gotten some good effort from some people, and hopefully we can pick up the efficiency in the second half.
Thanks, Murray. Murray Arnold looking forward to a good second half. Well, earlier today, the Illawarra Hawks trained here at the Entertainment Centre, and I can assure you it's a tough life being a coach. Just ask Dave Lindstrom.
That's kind of fun for them, and they're used to...
We'll talk about using your head. Dave Lindstrom should have been a soccer player, maybe.
Well, I don't know whether he'd appreciate anybody bouncing the ball off his head. When he played, he was named the assassin.
Okay, John, let's take a look at what's happened in week 4 of the NBL. The round got underway last night. The Rollers, 118, defeated the Tigers. The Tigers losing their first game of the season. The Gold Coast remaining undefeated. The Falcons, in a bit of an upset, defeated the 36ers by 5. And the Cannons won their first game, defeating the Supercats 124-120.
Very big win there for the Rollers.
The Tigers split their road trip then with a 2-point victory tonight over the Bullets. The Sydney Kings remain undefeated. Look at that, John, just 1 point in it against Adelaide. The Tassie Devils broke through. That's good news for Carl Bruton. Big winners over the Canberra Cannons, 20 points in that game. And the Melbourne Derby, the North Melbourne Giants have strung back-to-back victories. And that's a comprehensive victory over the Magic, isn't it?
That's a very big win for Bruce Palmer over Brian Goorjian.
And don't forget, every Thursday night on Network 10 from 11 o'clock, the sports show hosted by Mike Gibson and Eddie Maguire. Well, we've got about 10 seconds before this game gets underway, and it's the Wildcats at the half leading it by 8, and Murray Arnold was happy with the second quarter.
Well, he was happy with the comeback and happy with the fact that he got a little bit more productivity on the offensive end, but he's certainly got to be a little bit worried, Peter, if you look at some of his stars. And in his starting 5, Ricky Grace, Ricky only has 2 points for that half, and James Crawford has not scored. Now, it's been a long time since James Crawford put together 2 quarters of basketball without scoring. If you look at their statistics last year, Crawford averaged 22 points at 57%, and also Grace averaged 22 at 50%, and right now they've got a collective 2 between them. They could hold the key to this game if they come out and are more productive. And interestingly enough, James Crawford is not in the lineup. They've gone small with Hinchin, Ellis, Blahoff taking the jump, Hansen and Grace.
So the second half underway. Hawks with first possession with us. Gives it to Overton. And Ellis with a job on him again, and why not? Shut him down in the second quarter. Harmison working against Hansen. This is Thomas up against Blahoff. Bounce pass. Withers puts up the shot. Doesn't go.
Got a hand foul called here. Peter Lucas has called it from out on the floor. Hinchin's reached in, definitely made the reach in and made the contact. That'll send the Hawks to the line now. Both teams in a huddle. There you can see it on replay. Withers goes up for the shot. Foul occurred slightly before that.
So Withers, 88% from the line, the 4th best in the league this year. 28 points against the Giants last week and 26 against the Canberra, John. So he's having a very good season.
He's a very fine player, Justin Withers. Very young player. Got a great future in this league.
He's the game's high scorer tonight with 15 as Ellis has got the ball.
See if we can pick up this defence from the Hawks here. Ricky Grace getting a lot of attention, being double teamed then. Finds Hinchin. And that's the shot, of course, that Hinchin has to hit, because if Grace is double teamed, he'll give the ball to the open man.
Hubbard to Overton. Harmison left open. Thomas goes looking for Harmison, and Blahoff intercepted the pass. Grace all the way, and he gets the 2.
That'll lift his confidence, that layup. Give all the credit, though, to Andrew Blahoff. He got a hand to the ball, able to strip Thomas of the ball, then threw the long lead pass to Ricky Grace. First uncontested layup the Wildcats have had all night.
Hawks by 8. Overton inside. Withers fends off Grace underneath. Big block by Hansen. Another turnover. Hinchin, Cats with the numbers. Ellis back to Hinchin, and Hinchin gets the 2.
Good, promising start from the Cats. They've promised all week to run. They are running very effectively. 6-point the break now.
Hubbard. Withers. Crowd getting involved in this game now. Baseline, Overton didn't go. Thomas, nice rebound, and gets the 2.
Well, the defensive rotation did very well from the Wildcats then, but just wasn't strong enough to take that shot off Thomas. See if we can pick this defense up again. It looks like a 1-2-2 zone to start with, but Overton will stay with Grace at this stage. Grace finds Hinchin low on the left-hand side. He whips it across to Ellis. Not a lot of rotation on that shot, though.
Withers with his 8th board tonight. Overton through traffic, kicked it back out to Hubbard. Shot from the corner, no good by Harmison.
There you go, the anxiety of hands. Wildcats spoiling each other in that situation. They weren't quite sure who the other man was and didn't communicate. Hawks get another chance, another 30-second shot clock.
Overton double teamed. Hubbard back out to Overton. This is Thomas, fade away, comes up short. Withers with the rebound, gets it to go off the glass.
Justin Withers is doing it for his club as he pushes the Hawks out to a 10-point lead. Almost 2.5 seconds gone after half-time, and they lead 60-50.
Withers, the game's high scorer so far. Blahoff back out to Ellis, left open, look away pass. Hansen on the second attempt, stripped of the ball. Away comes Overton, one-on-one with Grace. Overton got it back out to Hubbard, and Hubbard brings it back out to Overton.
Wildcats persisting with man-to-man defence there. Withers posting and then setting the screen for Hubbard underneath. Comes out to Thomas. Thomas looking to find Withers at the top. He goes around the screen set by Hubbard. Hubbard takes the long 3-pointer. Thank you very much. And the lead is now 13 to the Illawarra Hawks. And they've weathered that onslaught thrown at them just after half-time.
Hubbard with 10 now. Mike Ellis. The clock down to 8:34 in the 3rd quarter. So what do they see there, John?
Well, it's come off a foot off an Illawarra Hawk. Wildcats will get possession back. And they're leading by 16 now. 16, 66-50. No, they've taken it back to 63. That's the call we made earlier. Still 13. There's that long skip pass across to Hinchin. Can he make it? Thank you.
Hinchin for 3. He's in double figures with 12 tonight. And the split 10 points. 63 plays 53. Counting down to 8 minutes. Remaining 3rd quarter. For most of the night, the Cats have trailed by 10 or more. Overton went to Thomas. The rotation now. Hubbard takes it all the way. Big rebound by Harmison and the two, and he'll go to the line for the bonus.
Well, Chuck Harmison's doing it for them right now. That's his 7th rebound, and he's picking them up at both ends of the floor. See the shot from Hubbard now on your replay. Hits the front of the ring. Nobody blocking out. Harmison comes up not only with the points, he'll go to the foul line for the bonus by virtue of the foul. So this is a little 3-point play that could come up for Chuck Harmison. He's a good foul shooter usually. 65. Oh, he's not too good. We put the mockers on him.
It's a bit too early to talk about defeat, but you've got to go back about 6 years for the Wildcats before they've lost 2 in a row at home as Grace gets 2. The spread 10 points. Overton, Hubbard.
Wildcats persisting in a man-to-man matchup. Hanson's on Harmison. He won't go out that far. Harmison goes under the screen. Blahoff comes up with a good defensive denial. Rolls it across the top. Goes under the bucket for his troubles. But his team gets another valuable 2 points. 57 to 65. Illawarra leading 65 over the Wildcats 57. What have we got here? We've got a hand foul. We've got the bucket counting. 2 points count. Here it comes through here. Well, we've got the hand foul on Mike Ellis, I suspect. James Crawford's back into the ball game. Wildcats not quite able to stay within that single-figure deficit right now, Peter, and it's such a psychological effect. If they can get under there and stay there and gradually chip away, then they've got a real chance to be a lot closer at three-quarter time.
Every time they threaten to sort of bring that gap into something fairly marginal, Illawarra get the next basket or two, and at the moment they lead by 10. Overton to Hubbard, 10 points tonight, turning jumper. Thomas put it up high.
Gee, that's now typical of James Crawford at the moment. He just can't get a handle on the ball. Very nervous.
Crawford.
Maybe this will help.
His first points of the night, shot no good. Now Overton's away. Crawford went down.
Oh,
Hubbard from the
bodies everywhere.
Thomas with a rebound.
Well, I suspect that the fans would be excused for thinking that it was a free-for-all out there. There were bodies being spilled everywhere. There were 2 or 3 charges missed before that one that was called as a hand foul, where players simply went through and bowled people over. I guess that the man on the spot's got to call it, but it won't change what's happened. Put Melvin Thomas on the line with a chance to build on that 10-point lead in favour of Illawarra.
Thomas shooting 100% tonight. Gets the first, 9 in all. The Hawks by 11. Remember at halftime it was 8. Doesn't get the second though. Hanson drags down the rebound. So we got 6:40 left in the third quarter.
Illawarra only shooting 50% from the foul line. It's 58% from the foul line, and that's very, very poor for a team at this standing. Most teams would expect at least 75%. Little give and go play there between Crawford and Hanson. That helps them, but they need a lot more of that.
Overton with 15 tonight so far. Gave it to Thomas, who's setting the Hawks alight in this third quarter. Another 2. We've got 6:14 left on the clock. Now Thomas has 11, and it's the Hawks by 11.
Pete Hanson takes a rest. Vince Hinchin comes in. Hinchin certainly played the minutes that they expected of him tonight. Hanson sits down, not travelling all that well athletically, suffering through a training accident, but the Hawks defence working very, very well for them. Crawford inside. That's a good move. Crawford found the room. That's the Crawford of old. Took the spin. Hawks lead 70, Wildcats 61. David Lindstrom wants to talk it over and see if he can just add a little more to the stability of the Illawarra Hawks and see if they can steady the ship.
Welcome the premiere of the show the Palms thought was over the top. Birds of a Feather, following a lower low. Thursday comedy from 8:35. Retrovision is all about the combined buying power of over 50 stores statewide. Your local Retrovision store is part of your community, and because the store owners run the stores, they depend on your business. They provide you with the very best brands at bulk discount prices and professional help and advice no other stores can match. Personal service and the bulk buying power of Western Australia's biggest electrical retail chain. Retrovision. Buy anywhere else and you'll pay too much.
Australians have always known there's nothing tougher than hard yakka. Hard yakka.
Back at the Entertainment Centre, 6 minutes left in the third quarter. And Illawarra lead it by 9, 70-61. And the Hawks with possession after James Crawford scored his first bucket of the night, midway through the third quarter. Who would have thought that was possible? Crawford just 2 points tonight. And Grace well down on productivity as well with 6.
Well, they need to pick their game up, and they've changed. Well, there's a good start for them. And they've changed their defence, Peter. They've got a little 1-3-1 match-up zone going for them out there. They've worked at it all week. They're looking to change their defensive posture. This should put a little more pressure on the Hawks from the outside. There's, lucky to get it back. Mike Ellis didn't fake the pass. Crawford couldn't quite put it together. Lindstrom's got possession at the moment.
Ellis back in touch tonight, 7 points after 2 scoreless games. This is Hinchin, who's hit 12 points. Blahoff, who's been great, another 2 there, 18 tonight.
Mike Ellis has got 4 assists, including that one to Andrew Blahoff.
Overton, Hubbard.
See if we can pick this zone defence up. It's looking to force them outside. It's got Withers. Oh, that's a great rebound by Thomas. Over the top of Mike Ellis, who's on the baseline of this 1-3-1 zone. Ellis has got the tough job. He's got to match up and get out to the man on the wing.
8 rebounds for Thomas. He dragged in 16 in his last game against the Giants. Ellis pushed there, and they'll call that against Hubbard.
Well, it's almost an automatic foul somewhere in some situations where you let the dribbler go by and you try and slap it out. You can see this is exactly what's happening. Little hand there from Hubbard. Ellis given the benefit of the doubt. Hubbard given the foul.
Well, if they score this trip, John, they'll be within 7. And that's about as close as they've got all night. Blahoff, shot no good. A big rebound by Withers sends Overton away. Overton and Grace. Grace with 3 early personals. Baseline, puts up the shot. Doesn't get the roll, and Crawford drags down the rebound.
That's a good rebound by James Crawford. And that's what he has to do at the moment. Go back to basics. Get the rebound. Make sure he works hard on the boards. The shots will follow.
Cats retain the ball from the side.
Critical time. 4.5 minutes before three-quarter time. 63 to the Wildcats, trailing Illawarra 72.
Ellis to Blahoff. Crawford gets it back. Crawford doesn't get the shot away. Bad luck for Crawford. He tried very hard. Just no luck. 2 points tonight, averaging 13 points a game this year.
Well down on last year, Peter.
Well, he's the second greatest scorer in the league, isn't he?
Yep, he is. He's averaged 22 last year, and he's well down this year. But it will come to him if he works hard.
Well, Blahoff with the turnover. He's got Grace to his right. Grace controls it well and gets the 2.
Grace did extremely well. That was not an easy pass to pick up then.
So it's 7 points, John, and I don't think the Wildcats have been that close since the start of the game.
No, they haven't. They've got there by virtue of this change in defence. And, of course, the zone defence puts people into defending an area as opposed to a man. They've given the responsibility of defending the people within that zone area.
Inside 3.5 minutes, third quarter. Thomas, shot put up by Withers, no good. They battle for it. Hubbard, the smallest man there, brings it back out to Overton. Thought about the shot, Hubbard. Overton goes to Withers, baseline. Thomas around Ellis, surrounded Thomas. Doesn't get it to go off the glass.
That's going to be a foul and no basket, I suspect. Craig Adams picked up for the foul over the top. Adams is doing a very, very good job on the offensive boards. Watch this now. See how he reaches right over the top, even though he got the bucket and the friendly roll on the tap. And he knew instantly it was a foul. He wanted the basket to score, but that was not the case.
So a lucky break for the Wildcats. They trail by 7. Hinchin looking to make that 5. He does.
Well, it's a game of momentum. On the one hand, the Wildcats have picked up their defensive intensity, and of course the offense is flowing, and that's the way it goes. Not vice versa, of course. If the defense is running and the emotion is there on the defense, the offense comes.
Well, they've lost 2 games in a row. Are the reigning NBL champions back? Lahoff with a big intercept. Lahoff brings it down himself now. He's been inspirational tonight. Hinchin from the corner. Holds it up.
Got a set play he wants to come down. They need to work hard. Lahoff goes underneath. Crawford finds it. Thomas comes up with the ball. Now, I suspect that what you're seeing there, Peter, is a player out of form. You and I can remember that James Crawford would have grabbed that ball last season and jammed it through, and Thomas would have gone with the ball. That little lack of confidence has caused him to be tentative. Timeout's been called by David Lindstrom. He's not happy with the loss of momentum. Scoreline favours his club 72 to 67.
A game of cops and robbers, and Roz is on the warpath looking for office enemy number 1. LA Law, 9:30 Tuesday on GWN.
It's Legacy Week. The legacy of war has been such that Legacy, 71 years after the First World War and 44 after the Second, is still playing its role in looking after the dependents of our war dead and of ex-servicemen who have died since all the wars. Legacy is uniquely Australian, and its support is for those who died for this country and with such love for it, and those who were prepared to. This Friday is Legacy Badge Day. Buy a Legacy badge on Friday, lest you forget.
Last load. Looking? Just add coal power. Cold water wash, right? In cold water, nothing's more powerful than coal power.
I'd say that's powerful.
I mean, look how bright these colours come up.
Bright?
So lovely and fresh.
Definitely fresh. Okay, Mum, I think I can handle it from here. You've been a great help.
Well, you're such a quick learner.
I know. Thanks a lot.
New coal power for a brighter, fresher result.
So with 2:19 left in the third quarter, the Wildcats back in business, down by 5 points. Here's Tim Gossage.
Well, you can certainly sense the Wildcats on a comeback. They're all smiles in that timeout. They've got their head up and they're starting to charge. As far as Dave Lindstrom's concerned, he was very stern with Craig Adams and Justin Withers. They came in for some special attention.
Right, thanks, Tim. Now, John, let's talk about James Crawford then. This season so far, 14, 23, 10 and 7 points last week against Sydney.
Well, I suspect that what you're seeing on the foul line right now epitomises the answer to the question that you're asking. He's down on form. He knows that. He's thinking too much about how he needs to get back into form. He needs to get out there and play right now. And what James Crawford does best is rebound, run the floor, and work close to the basket.
So Illawarra up by 4, and they'll retain the ball from the side. Hinchin got a foot on that. Thomas to inbound. We've got just over 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Overton is being quiet after a sensational start. Hubbard, who's been strong throughout with 10 points. Overton working against Grace. Open man is with us from long range. That was for 3, didn't go. And Blahoff with an inspirational rebound.
Took Adams and took Crawford.
Ellis inside. There's Blahoff at the other end. Gets the roll and the foul.
Well, that's a great assist from Mike Ellis. There's the emotion of the captain and what you'd consider a rookie. Like, goodness me, how you can consider a seasoned international campaigner like Andrew Blahoff a rookie. 4 years at Stanford. Coming up for another Olympics with Australia. But that's a great assist from Mike Ellis. And this is a 3-point play and the clock has stopped. Gives them a chance to be within 1.
Blahoff, 20 points tonight. This year, 77% from the line. His game tallies have been 16 against Hobart, 18 against Melbourne, 21 against Sydney. They needed something special tonight. He's delivered. Now, let's have a look what happened here.
Well, we've got a foul called against Vince Hinchin on that broken play situation. And by virtue of the fact that that is the 5th team foul against the Wildcats, whilst it's only Vince Hinchin's 2nd foul, Justin Withers will walk the 90-odd feet to the other foul line and have a chance at a one-on-one situation and buy his team a little bit of breathing space.
Well, you mentioned Vlahoff about the Rookie of the Year as the crowd try and put Withers off. It doesn't work. Well, Withers himself, John, the Rookie of the Year in the league in 1989. In fact, we've got 3 former Rookies of the Year with Hubbard, the Rookie of the Year in 87. That must be some sort of record in itself in one game.
Well, I think the thing that it indicates is that the league is producing bigger and better players all of the time. Look at this change of defence here. There's got a 2-2-1 extended press by Illawarra, trying to trap the ball, but more importantly, trying to take away the momentum from the Wildcats. But you can't hold a good man down, and Andrew Vlahoff got up with that tap right now. They've got to hold out the Hawks, still 120. There's about 4 possessions left in this quarter.
Vlahoff 22, 2-point spread, Overton.
This 1-3-1 zone's working for them. Vlahoff on the wing, Crawford in the middle, Grace at the point, Hinchin on the other wing, Ellis underneath. 1 at the top, 3 across the middle, and 1 on the baseline.
The crowd deafening at the present time. Shot clock to 3. I don't know if Overton had heard the buzzer. Puts up the shot, doesn't go, and Crawford.
That's the job Crawford has to do for the Cats.
Race away, Hinchin, tapping by Vlahoff.
Hinchin missed what he should have got, and Andrew Vlahoff was there to really mop it up. And the Cats are level, and 8,000 fans can tell you that right now.
Vlahoff, single-handedly almost, bringing the Wildcats back. He scored 24. And Crawford brings in another defensive rebound. Away comes Ellis. We've got 24 seconds left in the quarter. Here's Vlahoff again. No go that time. And the Hawks will get the ball from the side.
A little bit too much of emotion now. Andrew Vlahoff normally would be expected to do that. Lindstrom's telling his charges. 16 seconds, 1 shot.
So it's Overton. 10 seconds left till 3/4 time. Scores locked together at 74. Hubbard barking the instructions. Withers. Harmison puts up the shot. Well off the mark. Ellis has got it. It's 3/4 time. And a great comeback by the reigning NBL champions. The scores locked together at 74 apiece.
On Beyond 2000 Tuesday, avoiding this with sophisticated traffic control.
So if you're tailgating or speeding, you get your picture taken.
Big Brother takes to the roads. Also,
a man who can turn a lump of skin into a cuddly animal.
Scientists are succeeding in bringing an extinct animal back from the dead. And Stradivarius would turn in his grave.
Cheap, tough, made-to-order musical instruments.
Challenging traditions in Beyond 2000, 8:30 Tuesday on GWM.
No one's here just for the ride. There's a job to do, and we do it with pride.
West Australian owned and operated, Westrac believes in building the future prosperity of this great state, and it shows in its dedication to building future careers for its young people.
West Australians far and wide can build tomorrow side by side.
Westrac's ongoing investment in apprenticeship training is second to none. Westrac.
We've put together another 28 of the greatest love songs ever recorded to give you more of that loving feeling. Here's the fabulous Phil Collins. The beautiful Gloria Estefan. And John Farnham's George Michael's classic. Linda Ronstadt and Aaron Neville's Get more of that loving feeling with 28 of the greatest love songs all on this fabulous double album. Here's Dan Hill.
Sometimes when we touch,
Sade.
your love is king. I'm not alone.
10cc's classic love song.
So don't forget it. How deep is your love?
The Bee Gees' beautiful ballad. And the Righteous Brothers. You can get more of that loving feeling with 28 of the greatest love songs ever recorded from Concept.
What's the best value imported Japanese car?
A Honda?
A Honda.
It would have to be Honda.
In fact, Honda Civic from Paul Motors starts at around $16,500.
Is that all? A Honda?
You're kidding.
The Honda Civic. 4-door luxury Accord. and sporty two-door Prelude all show Honda's commitment to quality engineering and affordability.
Just see how affordable new Honda is at Paul Motors. Try us. You won't believe it.
New Era know the importance of good looks with the strength and beauty of quality security screen doors. New Era products are designed to enhance any room with quality products that add class and style while always keeping safety in mind. Brightening rooms with glass and mirrors, New Era products make your house a home full of style and comfort. Transform the ordinary into something special with quality products from the people who know. New Era, Zackley Place, Bunbury.
And a 28-point third quarter by the reigning NBL champions. The Perth Wildcats have tied the scores here at three-quarter time. 74 points apiece. Tim Gossage, no doubt Dave Lindstrom would not have been happy with that third quarter.
Absolutely ropeable, Peter. He said to the players, have you lost interest? Have you relaxed? He asked Justin Withers if he wanted to play any more court time. He said, you've got to start believing in yourselves. And I can't recall the last time a standing ovation was at three-quarter time.
John Lahoff, no doubt the prime mover, but he had a few teammates in that third quarter.
Yes, but Lahoff had 10 for the Wildcats in that third quarter. Hinchin had 7 and Grace had 6, and of course James Crawford picked up 3, so that was a very good productive quarter for the Wildcats. But what they did was limit the Hawks to 48% from the floor, and they matched it. That was a great improvement on the previous 3 quarters.
Lahoff has sent the Cats to the lead by 2. 26 points in this game, and he's been marvellous tonight.
Don't underestimate the effect that this 1-3-1 zone has had on the Wildcats. It's really put the question to the Hawks, and Chuck Harmison, who's not noted as an outside shooter, is now resolving to pick up those little shots at the 15-foot mark because the defence is shutting down the more touted outside players of Overton and Hubbard.
So it's still locked together then, 76 apiece. Harmison with 14, Hinchin, who's been good tonight with 14. There's Lahoff again, 28.
Mike Ellis picks up 6 assists, and for the Wildcats, Hinchin has 5 assists and Grace has 5 assists in their total of 19. That indicates over the Hawks, who only have 9, that the Wildcats are making more passes that lead to baskets, and the Hawks are shooting one off.
Baseline, Thomas. Thomas doesn't get the roll. Grace brings in the rebound. The Cats on the run now. They lead by 2. They trail for much of the night. This is Crawford. Crawford baseline, gets the roll and 2.
Boy, that has to do tons for his confidence. That's the first time he's put it to the floor in this match with confidence and taken it to the hoop.
Crawford with 5 tonight. Wildcats lead by 4. Hubbard to Overton, who has been quiet since quarter time, just 4 points. Hubbard through traffic to Overton, to the top of the key. Kicks it back out to Hubbard. This is Withers. Withers goes inside. Taken by Thomas. Shot no good. And it's Hinchin with the rebound.
Crawford got to that ball. Not only did he get to it, he shouldered Thomas out of the way and onto the floor. He's come down at the other end of the break and put it off the glass as sweet as a nut. 82 to the Wildcats now. They lead the Hawks, and David Lindstrom has to have another timeout to talk this over. His team's in trouble right now.
Contact with an ancient people and a fatal attraction for Lieutenant Yar. Star Trek The Next Generation. 7:35 Wednesday on GWN.
This is Glenn Nicholas. He has something important to tell you. Kissing Frogs is one of the funniest shows you'll ever see. It'll have you just falling about. Hilarious mime, beautiful music and drama. So wake up to yourself and get a ticket to see Glenn Nicholas Kissing Frogs live on stage. Wet your lips.
From Wednesday, April 29th to Saturday, May 2nd at the Bunbury Entertainment Centre.
If you're an owner-builder, then you need expert advice and assistance, and that's exactly what you'll get from the crew at Metro Albany. They'll not only give you the right advice, but they supply steel mesh for sturdy foundations, precision door frames, durable steel wall studs, stylish Colorbond roofing and gutters right down to the meter box. If you want your new home to stand the test of time, then build it as tough as steel with Metro Albany. Because from the ground up, Metro really is the right way to go.
We've got 9:51 left in the game. As you can see, the Wildcats lead by 6. And since half-time, John, the Wildcats have hit 36 points. Illawarra have made 22. and Lindstrom's had to use an early timeout.
Well, each coach has given 5 timeouts per match. That was his second last timeout. He'd be very reluctant to call that so soon after three-quarter time. Arnold has 3 left, so Arnold has the whip hand right now.
Overton to Hubbard. Back to Overton, working against Hinchin. Brought into the starting 5 with the exclusion of this man Ellis. Kick back out to Overton. Grace got a hand in there. Can Grace go all the way?
Oh, that's a great leap by Overton. A great leap by Overton. Ricky Grace was up and he can get above the ring, but Overton matched him on that little play. That shows the intensity of both clubs. I mean, I really can't let this opportunity go and make mention of how every club in the league has improved, and you're seeing some really top-class action.
No easy games now. Overton to the top. Hubbard, 10 points tonight. Back to Overton, makes a run at the basket, gives it to Withers, baseline shot, no good. That man, Vlahoff, brings down the rebound. Ellis on the run, big pass to Crawford.
Oh, look at that jam. I'm telling you, folks, that's athleticism. Crawford plays above the ring. That ring is 10 feet from the ground. He was up with plenty of time preparing to dunk the ball, and both Harmison and Thomas came at him and trapped the ball against the backboard. There's a lot of great athletes in this ball game right now, Peter.
And we're seeing one in James Crawford starting to regain touch. A couple of quiet weeks, as you can see. He's got a great record in the league. All-time second leading scorer in the NBL. He's got 8 points tonight. Came off a 7-point game against Sydney last week. I'd reckon it must be years and years, if ever, that he's got only single figures in a game.
That's right. And he's suffered, of course, because Arnold hasn't used him. His playing minutes have diminished, but he's one of the most decorated players in the league, and he's going to bounce back.
Shot by Overton, no good.
That's the first offensive rebound that Illawarra have got for ages. And Hubbard has thrown it up. Oh, boy, a lot of people would call that an air ball and a travel on that situation. Obviously didn't have control. Hubbard from the three-point line. Ellis underneath against Harmison. Ellis is given the benefit of the doubt. White ball from the side.
So it's starting to fall into place for Perth then.
Well, there's
lead by 8.
Long way to go, and for the first time at home this year, the Wildcats have rediscovered the emotion and the intensity that took them to back-to-back champions.
Crawford, and he'll get called for that.
Little frustration there for Crawford. Missed the easy shot, was frustrated with his own play, as so many players do, then raced across trying to overcompensate and picked up his 3rd foul.
So we've got 8:16 left in the game. Illawarra led for 2.5 quarters. Murray Arnold bouncing up and down.
Very visible tonight in that swan gold jacket.
Overton around Vlahoff. He's still got it against Grace.
Well, Milton Hall is in a much better position than us. Very difficult to pick up from here. Maybe our camera angle will have it better for you. Let's reach in. Well, it's very difficult to see. Milton Hall's across here on the right. He's called it a hand foul. Grace says he got all ball, but either way, it'll send Overton to the foul line because he was in the act of shooting. Ricky Grace picks up his 4th foul. That's the 2nd team foul this quarter for the Wildcats.
Overton with just 4 points since quarter time, John, and that's great credit to Mike Ellis.
Super credit to Mike Ellis when he was matched up with him man-to-man. Even better credit to the Wildcats 1-3-1 zone that's restricted Overton from beyond the 3-point line. Hawks in an extended 2-2-1 trap here, looking to put some pressure on the Wildcats. Relieved by virtue of Hinchin. Hinchin almost lost the handle on it though, gives it back to Grace, and Grace will take control of the tempo.
So it's the Wildcats by 6, and Crawford back.
Slam and jam, and the Alabama's back, and that was a great eyeball pass there from Grace, and that's what they need to do to get Crawford back on track.
8 points the spread. Crawford with 11 now. All scored in the second half. Overton. Where will he go? Hubbard for 3, and that was all net.
Well, that's Hubbard's first points for a long time. He had 10 at three-quarter time. That's his first points, and he's been very quiet. But if he lights up from the 3-point line, it's a different match.
Wildcats lead by 5, 7-10 left in the game. This is Ellis from long range. Too much on it. Hinchin will come up with a rebound, and they'll call that against Hubbard.
Greg Hubbard's second foul. Mike Ellis didn't look comfortable with that shot. There was not a lot of rotation there. But the ball came across Hinchin just a little bit quietly, and Hubbard looking to steal it, but he's made the contact, and the Cats go from the side.
Ellis to Grace. Grace tonight has just 8 points. Overton is in his face. Goes to Ellis. Ellis working against Hubbard. This is Hinchin. Where will he go? Back to Ellis. Shot clock to 15. Ellis goes all the way and he draws the foul.
That's Hubbard's third foul. He's not happy. You saw the expression on his face. A little grimace from Mike Ellis. Mike Ellis has had perennial back problems for the last couple of years here. Ellis had nowhere to go on that. Had to continue. Harmison reached out at him. You can see the contact in the lower body. That sends Ellis to the foul line. We've got a substitution from the Wildcats. Hanson wanting to come in. Reported in too late. Of course, the substitution has to be in the hands of the bench, and the bench has to clearly signal before the referee puts it in the hands of the shooter.
Ellis, one of the best shooters from the line on the Wildcats team, 76%.
Actually, I think he's almost 100% so far this year. And if I remember correctly, 3 years ago, he won the foul shooting record for the NBL for the whole league, and playing extremely well.
What a player. Over 3,700 career points. Overton for 3. No go. Grace, uncontested rebound. Wildcats by 7. This is Hinchin. Hinchin all the way. Blahoff came in.
Well, this is an interesting one.
He's hurt his wrist.
Hanson's gone down. That's a tough one. I think it's called on Hanson. Sorry, not Hanson. I'm calling Hanson. It's Blahoff. Blahoff's gone through. See, he's reaching over there. He's caused the contact. It's unfortunate. In his enthusiasm, he's come up with the offensive foul. That's his 4th.
7 points the spread. Wildcats in front. 6:25 left in the game.
Wildcats have to maintain the defensive pressure now. That's what's got them there. This ability to get out to the man and stop the shot. That's caused the bad shots. That's gave them the easy rebounds. That's ignited the running game.
Here's Grace to Crawford, and no doubt he'll go to the line.
Well, the Wildcats have been talking for a couple of weeks about how they wanted to up the tempo. It's interesting they've chosen to do it so well against a team such as Illawarra, who also like the up-tempo game. And this will do loads for their confidence, but we shouldn't get carried away. Illawarra Hawks have done very, very well in this match, and there's still a long, long way to go.
So Crawford 75% tonight from the line, point number 12. The Wildcats lead by 8. Crawford scoring all his points tonight in the second half. And that's number 13. So Perth lead it by 9 then. Just over 6 minutes left in the game. And what can the Hawks muster here?
Well, at the moment, their outside game's been nullified because this 1-3-1 zone has enabled them to get to the outside and the perimeter of the wings and make sure it's a difficult shot. And it's given them a lot of punch inside on the boards. The Hawks have to look for the shot.
Hubbard gets the 2, 15 to 9 for him, and it's back to 7.
Well, 5 minutes, 38 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. Wildcats have come with all the emotion and the momentum. The Hawks led for most of the game. And there's Withers. He's trying to lift his side. He got a hand to that ball, gives them another chance. And of course, this could be a 4-point or even a 5-point turnaround here. That's 2 that the Wildcats didn't get. That's 3 that almost the Hawks could have got.
Big rebound by Crawford. That's his 6th defensive board. Here's Grace. Grace to Vlahoff. And Vlahoff made 30 points tonight.
The worrying part for the Hawks at the moment is that the running game is finding them wanting. Their players aren't getting back. Ricky Grace is finding a little bit more room, and he can hurt you if he penetrates to the top because he draws the defense, creates a gap, and then can find the easy layup. There's Mike Ellis on the break.
Big outlet pass. Ellis.
Oh,
he crashes down, and they'll call that against Overton. He doesn't like it.
Well, Overton did very, very well. He made contact with the ball, but Ellis also was bundled out of court because of the body contact. You can see it coming up here. There's no doubt that there's very good contact on the ball, but Ellis was also disadvantaged in the act of shooting, and he'll go to the foul line. And what's that? Peter Overton has 2 fouls. By gee, he can leap. That's the second time tonight we've found that he can run down.
And Thomas too.
Oh yeah, they've been very well.
Imports.
Yep, good athletes.
Let's check that foul count. Grace has 4 personals, Vlahoff 4, and for the Hawks, Withers 3, Thomas 3, and Hubbard 3. Now Ellis
wants better than that. 67% from the foul line. That'll help his percentage. 1 from 2 in that little exchange.
In double figures now, John, 10 tonight.
That's the highest he's been for ages and ages. Had a few careers. Oh no, that's too harsh. We've had a few confidences lifted here tonight.
Hubbard for 3, short. Hanson got a hand on that, and the Hawks retain the ball from the side. So we've got 4.5 minutes left in the game.
Well, Peter, this has been a marvellous contest, and it illustrates the things we've been talking about, and I suspect from tonight's results that we gave the fans at half-time, there are absolutely no undefeated, but well, there are no teams in the league that haven't had a loss, haven't had a win.
Vlahoff in it again. This is Hanson off the glass, no going. It's Crawford who stuffs it in for 2.
Well, I suspect there had to be a foul there on Hanson. We've got a timeout with the scoreline, as you can see on your screen, 83 to Illawarra, 95 for the Wildcats, and David Lindstrom has used his last timeout with 4.
A World of Darkness, a blind concert pianist and a musical dimension for Sam. Quantum Leap, 8:35 Wednesday on GWM.
If your face was square, shaving would be simple. But your face has curves. Introducing the revolutionary Chic FX, the only twin-blade razor that flexes to follow the curves of your face. Chic FX. We're changing the face of shaving.
To get your money working as hard as you do, invest in an ANZ term deposit with an interest rate so solid, not even Bluey here can move it.
Liquor prices take a tumble as Consliquor demolish all low-price records. Look at these bottlers. Tooheys Red Stubbies off the pallet, knocked down to just $20.95. The Clooney Scotch, what a burster, $17.95. Wynn's 1990 Hermitage, last chance at this price, $6.95. Baronga Ridge 4-litre casks, just $5.95. And Swan Gold Tinnies off the pallet, $18.25. Consliquor knock down prices every week. That's why they're Bunbury's premier liquor store. The Price Busters.
The back of the entertainment centre, Perth lead it by 12. Remembering they trailed by 12 at quarter time. And let's have a look at John Crawford in full flight. This is vintage Crawford as he stuffs it in for 2. Now Tim Gossage was sidelined in that last timeout.
Dave Lindstrom said, let's bring the ball up as quick as possible, put up the 3-point shots as much as possible, and he said put the Wildcats on the line as much as possible.
Well, Andrew Vlahoff has been everywhere tonight. This is Ellis, goes to Hanson, they get it back out to Grace. Grace for 3, and that was all there.
It's a funny game of confidence and momentum. We've had players from the Wildcats down all night, Ricky Grace included. He's now found the 3-point range, as has Chris Bretell. Bretell's come in here, he's been put in by Lindstrom to shoot from the 3-point line because he wants the Wildcats to suffer on the foul line. He's going to go out there and foul whenever they're in the act of shooting, and he's going to put all his faith in his 3-point shooters.
Ellis to the line, stripped of the ball, goes again Ellis, big second effort that. Crawford slips, shot clock inside 10. Vlahoff through the traffic, kicked it back out to Crawford, too much on it, rebounds Vlahoff. Vlahoff goes to Hanson, and Hanson draws the foul.
Well, you can see the intensity in the players now. Crawford's still not shooting as well as he'd like, but by geez, miles in front of what he was a week or 2 ago. And of course, Peter, the intensity on defence is going to be shown here. The Wildcats can go to the foul line an awful lot. And Lindstrom's aim in doing that is trying to get the extra point to chip away at that margin by shooting from the 3-point line. At the same time, he wants to foul the Wildcats, see if they can shoot better than what they have been shooting in previous games, which has been down. Last year they were shooting 70%. So far this year they're under that. And at the same time as he's doing that, of course, the clock stops. Only 3 minutes 16 remaining, but it could be a long 3 minutes for both clubs.
Wildcats by 15, and for just the second time this year, the Wildcats have hit a triple figure. There's Thomas, tries to get it off the glass, and Crawford brings in another defensive rebound. That's what, number 7 for the game?
Well, all up, that's 8 for Crawford, and I suspect he's got them all in the second half.
And Vlahoff's got the ball centre court. Wildcats by 15. We've got 2:50 left in the game. Grace working against Britell. This is Crawford, triple teamed. It doesn't get the roll. Vlahoff clearly the rebound, but it's Thomas who comes away. Now Overton. Thomas, baseline with us. He's lost the handle on it. Grace is looking for a travelling call.
Well, I think you'll also find that Hansen gave up the professional foul in that situation as well. They were outnumbered. They had a little tandem defence there, and Hansen wasn't prepared to give any easy shots. And that's another timeout now, but this time the Wildcats have called it. And as we mentioned earlier, the Wildcats have 2 more timeouts to give, so Arnold can have a lot of control over his team. He can now call his tactics, but mind you, at the same time, Peter, he's giving David Lindstrom a chance to talk through whatever strategy he believes might be more effective against the Wildcats. So it's evenly poised now in terms of intensity and emotion, but the Wildcats have got the points on the board at the business end of the game.
Well, since quarter time, John, the Wildcats have outscored the Hawks by 27 points. Remembering they trailed by 12 at quarter time, 8 at the half. It was locked together at 74 at three-quarter time, and they have split the game wide open, 100 to 85 at the present time. And what about the shooting of the Wildcats? It's got better as the game has progressed.
That's right, and it's a complete turnaround. We went to the first quarter when the Wildcats shot 35%. They're now up to 48%. Conversely, the Hawks that were at 67% with a fantastic shooting percentage when they blitzed the Wildcats in the first quarter, they're down to 42%. Their shooting percentage has fallen away, and I think you've got to give credit for that situation to this 1-3-1 zone that the Wildcats have worked at all week. Been a lot of talk throughout last year and this year how the Wildcats were very one-dimensional in their man-to-man, and this 1-3-1 zone has certainly helped them.
The Cats at the present time have Hansen, Ellis, Grace, Crawford and Vlahoff.
The other interesting thing, Peter, is that last foul by Hansen was the last that the Wildcats could give as a team before they sent the Hawks to the foul line. They have 4 team fouls, so any foul now will result in shooting situations for both clubs.
Brettle to McDonald. Withers back to Brettle. Double team. Withers for 3. Shot no good. McDonald underneath. Big reject by Vlahoff. Attempted tip-in by Thomas goes the second time.
Give credit to Thomas now. Look at the extended defence here. Being punished somewhat with Hansen. Hansen will go up. Overton will come up with a foul. Ellis has fallen a little uncomfortably, but he'll bounce up. He's as tough as teak out there. Overton not prepared to give up the easy layup. He's appealing to the crowd, say, hey, it wasn't intentional, he's played at the ball, and he did. And of course, that's what this game's about. A lot of the fans often think it's a non-contact game. Believe you me, there's an enormous amount of contact in this game. It's not so rugged as some of the football matches out there, but it's a very athletic contact game.
33 years of age, Mike Ellis. Scoreless against the Tigers and the Kings, but he's bounced back in championship style really tonight. A man of great character, Mike Ellis.
Talking to Mike before the match, and he was feeling it. But like all champions, he does bounce back. Mike Ellis's legs are no longer as young as they used to be. He's got to the point where he's 33-year-old. He's played 280 NBL games, but he's out there leading by example.
Brettle from long range, and it's a 12-point spread. Perth lead 102 to 90. We're inside 2 minutes now. Ellis on the fast break. Nice dish to Hansen, who brings it back out, looking to eat away at the clock. They double-team Grace and give a foul away.
Let's see if we can pick up who the foul's on here. It'll come up against Overton. Overton's 4th foul, I should imagine. And, of course, he's been sent out there to foul. They want Grace to go to the foul line. Ricky Grace at this stage of the game, well, last year he was an 81% foul shooter, and he is still a very effective man from the foul line. That gives him a chance to build on this 12-point lead from the Wildcats.
It's his first trip to the line tonight. No problems there. 12 points for Grace. He's found it hard in the last couple of weeks, John. Just 14 points against the Tigers, kept to 17 against the Kings, and of course the Wildcats rely so heavily on Grace.
Well, they did last year, and they're being forced to readjust, which I think is a good thing, because I don't think any team can rely as heavily on Grace as they did last year and continue to win in this league.
Overton threw an air ball. He's gone right off the boil after quarter time. It's a Wildcats ball from the side. They lead by 13, 1:26 left in the game.
Mind you, at that last time out by the Hawks, the Wildcats led by 15, so this pressure is being somewhat effective. They're whittling away, and they're intent upon making sure that the Wildcats earn every basket, and at the other end they're relying a little bit upon good fortune to hit the three-pointer. You can see even in this situation here, Overton just pressuring Hanson. Now Hanson would be the first to...
I was going to say he'd be the man you'd want to foul, wouldn't you?
And of course, if you make the point or reinforce the point you just made, Pete, that's quite right. Hanson goes the 90-odd feet. He's got a chance at the other end, but Pete wouldn't make a living at the foul line. But there you go. There's far less pressure in this situation. He's relaxed, not thinking about anything except putting it in. 1 minute 21 remaining. They enjoy a 14-point lead. Now it's a 15-point lead over the Hawks.
7 from 10 for Hanson from the line, 70%. Overton, no good, and Hanson brings down the defensive rebound. He'll make the trip again.
Hanson's going to get a bit of foul shooting practice in this game, I suspect. Most interesting, in closer games, Peter, you can see the coach's strategy coming in. You can see the contact there. It's quite obvious. It's not intentional. But the thing that we're making mention of, in closer games where the margin was less, maybe Arnold would sub Pete Hanson out of this ball game and put a better ball carrier in and a better foul shooter. That's how strategic the game gets in these closing seconds, and that's what such an influence that the coaches have on the game.
Well, no problem so far. Hanson 8 from 11. 22 points a game this year. What a player he is, Pete Hanson. There's no man that gives more than Hanson out there.
I think the best thing you can say about Hanson is that he plays against better athletes week after week after week, and he's an overachiever. Now, Mike Ellis looking for the fast break, but the rules have changed this year. The referee must handle the ball in the back court. I think Blahoff's decided he wants some foul shooting practice right now. Anybody that holds the ball up in this ball game during the last minute is going to go to the line from the Wildcats.
Just got over a minute left, and they lead by 17. I guess it's fair to say, John, in many respects the Wildcats are back after a couple of indifferent weeks.
I think they are. I think the thing we should keep in perspective is that last week's loss was only the second in 2 seasons on this court. The Wildcats had a marvellous record, and sometimes people tend to be critical when they lose and not appreciate the marvellous record that makes it so unusual. But I guess the coaching staff of the Wildcats will be pretty relieved right now too. They'd have felt a bit of the heat during the week.
Brettle for 3, why not? Working hard, Boast underneath, can't find the handle on it, and the Wildcats keep the ball from the side. We've got just on 50 seconds left in the game. Ricky Grace, 12 points tonight, brings the ball down, and another foul. Grace will go to the line.
Well, I guess this might be a little repetitious for some of the fans out there that don't quite understand the game. But at the moment, the Hawks simply can't lie down and die. They've got to make sure they get out there and have some positive influence on the game. And as we heard Tim reporting from the Illawarra huddle, the instruction is to foul, stop the clock, hope the Wildcats miss the foul shots. They're not inclined to oblige right now. And then at the other end, hope that the three-pointers will lessen this deficit that they have, which now has gone out to 20 points.
Second shot no good this year. The Cats have beaten Geelong and Hobart, and at the moment they lead 110-90. Spread 20, Overton. Went looking for McDonald, who eventually got it. Brettel from long range, no good, and Vlahoff brings in the rebound number 12.
Well, I guess there comes a fine line now, you see. The referees now have to decide whether the fouls are becoming a little more clumsy, and there's a risk that they could be called intentional fouls. And the difference, of course, there is that not only would the Wildcats player take the shot, but the Wildcats team would also get possession from the sideline at the halfway point after the shot.
Vlahoff with 33 now. John, just getting back to the season record for the Wildcats. They defeated Geelong and Hobart to open the season, and then of course lost to Melbourne. That's the Melbourne Tigers in Melbourne, and the Sydney Kings at home last week. Crawford, a great knock to Grace, 24 seconds, and that surely is intentional.
And that's an intentional foul. That's just what we were talking about. Overton really, I suppose, is frustrated, pretty tired at this stage. That was his 6th foul. Being his 6th foul, he then goes and sits on the bench. Not a well, it's a disqualifying foul from the game, but it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the situation we saw here a couple of weeks ago when James Crawford was ejected from the game completely. In this situation, of course, we get possession for the Wildcats back at the halfway point. Grace gets the 2 shots, gets a chance to build on that 13-point. That's 14 for the match.
Game clock inside 23 seconds.
Guess you've got a feel for the coaches in this league at this stage, Peter. These guys are earning their living. Very enjoyable way to earn it in a game they love. But by gee, it's really a lot of pressure out there.
So Crawford's got it. Counting down now. The final buzzer. Ellis, baseline. What will they do? Ellis back out to Crawford. Clock inside 10 now. Wildcats back in the winner's circle. Hansen has a look. He knows. Counting down. 3 seconds. Bounce pass to Ellis. Will he put up a shot? On the buzzer he does. And he hits the 2 rather fittingly.
You could not get a more fitting finale to this game in my book than Mike Ellis making that shot with confidence right on the buzzer.
For the Wildcats, home by 26 points. The crowd love it. The final score, Perth 116, Illawarra 90. For much of the game, especially the first half, Illawarra were in command. They led by 12 at quarter time, 8 at the half. A storming finish by Perth in the second half. It was locked together at 74 at three-quarter time. And in the end, the Wildcats home by 26. Well, without question, the man of the match, the MVP, is Andrew Vlahov. 34 points tonight. And Andrew standing by along with Mike Ellis. They're both with Tim Gossage.
Andrew Vlahov, I suppose you're the MVP. Will you gratefully accept?
I don't know about that, but I'm just happy we won, mate.
What about that performance of your own, second half especially?
Well, you know, I just thought about last week when we came out against Sydney, and I thought I had a lacklustre performance then, somewhat in the second half, especially the third quarter, but I just said I'm just going to run until I drop and see how it goes.
Wildcats back to their very best?
No, I think we still got a lot of things to work out. We had a reasonable week at training, but you know, I don't think they're the top team in the league, and we're still ways behind.
What about the bloke on my left? What do you think?
Played a sterling effort, you know. He come out, I think, with a mission tonight, and I think he proved, you know, what he come out to prove.
Well, let's have a word to him, Mike Ellis. Whatever you had on your toast this morning, it certainly helped.
Yeah, no, it was, you know, as Andrew said, it was, last week was a lacklustre effort by everybody. We just had to extract the digit, as it were, and do a job, and I think everyone did tonight. It was good.
You haven't had that much court time in the last 5 years put together?
No, it was good. I tell you, I enjoyed it out there. I was the same as Andrew. I just wanted to run and work as hard as I could while I was out there, and it just turned out that I stayed out there. So,
did you use being put on the bench for the start as a real driving force?
Oh, obviously that helped, of course. You know, I suppose I had something to prove, not to anyone else, but more so to myself, I think. And, I mean, I just wanted to do the best I could for the team, and, you know, hopefully I helped tonight.
Simply awesome.
Oh, it was good. Thanks.
Mike Ellis and Andrew Vlahov, no doubt two of the stars, and I think, Peter, the Wildcats are back to almost their best.
Hard to argue with that, Tim, especially the second half. So Perth winners, and they've got a 3-2 record in season 1992. The final scoreline 116, Illawarra 90. We'll take this break, come back and wrap up the game shortly.
5:30 Sunday on Milbimby.
Aboriginal Airways, which is managed on a day-to-day basis by Missionary Aviation Fellowship under contract from the 3 Aboriginal councils, service approximately 25 communities regularly.
And Victor Patrick, despite being partly paralysed, nothing seems too much.
I'm looking into my biggest dream, which is setting up a training centre for disabled people.
Milbimby, 5:30 Sunday on GWM.
What's the most you'll pay for a 5-minute STD call to anywhere in Australia?
$10, $15? $12, $15, $6 to $10, something like that.
$6.
Or about $7?
$15. Easy. Well, it might surprise you, but the absolute most a 5-minute call to anywhere in Australia can cost is only $2.75. And it's even cheaper during off-peak times.
I thought it'd be a bit more than that. Honest to goodness.
Telecom STD. Isn't there someone you should be calling right now? Are you awake now, Scotty?
Right.
You see place to crash. You know a sensible place to crash, do you? Yeah, in bed. Right. No, left. Right. You're a mug, mate. Right.
When you're buying a home, you get hit with all kinds of fees. Application fees, legal fees, valuation fees, commitment fees. They even hit you with...
Hang on. There's a bank that charges just one fee on their flexible home loans.
Really? Which bank? Ooh, glad I asked.
Last load. Watching? Just add coal power. Cold water wash, right? In cold water, nothing's more powerful than coal power.
I'd say that's powerful.
I mean, look how bright these colours come over.
Bright?
So lovely and fresh.
Definitely fresh. Okay, Mum, I think I can handle it from here. You've been a great help.
Well, you're such a quick learner.
I know. Thanks a lot.
New coal power for a brighter, fresher result.
Beef farmers, are you getting the maximum return for your cattle? Recent studies have shown that direct selling provides the greatest return to you. So consider all options. And remember, we don't charge commissions. That means more money in your pocket. E.G. Green & Sons of Harvey are renowned as buyers and processors of quality beef and yearlings. So for top cattle prices and maximum returns, call E.G. Green & Sons of Harvey on 008 017 015.
The Wildcats have entered a two-game losing streak, winning this NBL fixture against Illawarra 116 to 90 points. And John, if you have a look at the last three quarters, the Wildcats outscored Illawarra by 38 points.
They did, and it was a much improved effort when you look at their efforts through the last couple of games, where they've really struggled from the shooting percentage that they were so good at last year. But more importantly, Peter, I think you've got to put it down to their defensive intensity got on that ball game.
The signs were great about midway through that second quarter.
Yes, there was a lot of intensity, and Illawarra was struggling, and we can pick it up on the highlights as we see some of those players from the Wildcats who were really out of form in the last 2 weeks. They came back. At this stage, it was Vlahov's ball game. He had the ball on a string and he was able to do anything he liked with it, but his intensity and his effort rubbed off on players. Ricky Grace found it. Yep, he found it, he penetrated, he dished off. That man in picture there, James Crawford, that shot must have done so much for his confidence.
A 15-point second half for Crawford.
Enormous effort from James Crawford. That man in picture ran hard all night under injury. There's James Crawford really throwing the ball down.
Let's have a look at the quarter-by-quarters, and as you can see, Illawarra led at quarter time, 33 to 21, also at the half, and then a big second half by Perth, 74 apiece at three-quarter time, and before Perth run out winners 116 to 90. And here's the match figures, John.
Well, look at these stats out here. The final margin of 26 was most comfortable and comprehensive, almost a turnaround from the score that they were so unhappy about last week against the Kings. Their field shooting percentage was a great turnaround from the first quarter, where they struggled against some marvellous shooting, particularly from Hubbard and Overton. The foul shooting was very interesting. They got to almost their average at 77, and what's more, they took 39 foul shots to the Hawks 16. That's the sort of game that they built a championship on last year, going inside, forcing the defence to foul. And the rebounds, well, everything else was pretty much academic.
And the game's high scorer, Andrew Vlahov, with 34. There's no question he was the MVP.
Not just from the scores, but primarily through his effort and endeavour. And he's had a late start to the season. I think Vlahov is yet to show us the best.
Hanson 19, Grace 15, Withers made 19 for the Hawks, and Overton 17 quiet after quarter time. Well, let's check then, see what's coming up in terms of games next week. And the Wildcats go to the road on Saturday night when they play the Adelaide 36ers. But firstly, on the Friday, the Hawks at home to the Brisbane Bullets, and the North Melbourne Giants play the Tassie Devils. And then on Saturday night, as you can see, the 36ers up against the Wildcats, the Kings play the Rollers, the Canberra Cannons against the Brisbane Bullets, and the Geelong Supercats up against the Tigers. And the 36ers game, of course, exclusive to Channel 10 next Saturday night. And then on Tuesday, Melbourne Magic play the Hobart Tassie Devils, and the Falcons have a bye in week 5. Then we've got the sports show every Thursday night at 11 o'clock, hosted by Mike Gibson and Eddie Maguire. Plenty of fun that. Well, John, I guess it's great news for Perth back in the winning touch tonight.
Well, we talked about it right at the top of the program. The Wildcats have been beaten here on this court very rarely. Tonight they were on a mission and they did it very well.
In a word, Andrew Vlahoff.
Promising.
You're a hard man, John Gardner. That's all we have time for from the Perth Entertainment Centre. On behalf of Tim Gossage, John Gardner, this is Peter Ensel bidding you good night.
Golden West Television, The Good Sports, proudly present this 1992 NBL telecast in association with West Track Equipment.